The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. A call to protect civil servants who expose the truth. F&M leader Michael Pintard suggests the Prime Minister is more concerned about leaks than revelations on the truth. No burial by former Prime Minister Hubert Minnis as threatened for Keith Bell. And MPs passed the Protection Against Violence Bill. That's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Friday, July 28th, 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Stephen Hanna will be joining us. Also this morning, more on what's going on with BPL. What the Prime Minister says contradicts what the CEO said just a few days ago. What really is going on in the backtracking we're hearing now. And later, we'll be starting a three-part series with RF Bank and Trust, unlocking financial opportunities with margin loans, a game changer for investors. Part 1 today, and we'll have the final 2 parts next week, but you don't want to miss that if you're trying to find out great ways to invest your money. That's coming up on this busy Friday. But let's begin with what else is happening in the news, including the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, opposition leader Michael Pintard chiding Prime Minister Philip Davis and Minister of Labour and Immigration Keith Bell in the House for failing to answer more comprehensively questions connected to recent immigration controversies. Pintard saying that Davis is more concerned with who's leaking information than the truth that's being revealed. Pintard noting that Bell had failed to answer immigration questions in Parliament as he claimed he would last week, saying last night, quote, "What we should be after is the truth, not trying to figure out who pointed out to the public that policymakers were being untruthful." We heard the member for West End say when we adjourn, we're adjourning for the summer. He was referring to Obi Wilshcombe, the leader of government business in the House. Pintard pointed that the same member stood on his feet, saying that they would have the opportunity to ask the questions, but that they weren't going to be able to do that. As has been widely reported in recent days, Bell is at the center of those controversies related to his swearing in of citizens at a funeral service last month, and a recent revelation that he directed the release of a group of Chinese workers found to be working at the British Colonial Hotel in January without work permits. In Parliament, Pintard also suggested the minister was responsible for what he said were other immigration enforcement violations. When he addressed the matter in a press statement on Wednesday, Prime Minister Davis did not speak in detail to any of the issues or accusations at hand, but he did pledge to undertake a comprehensive review of the checks and balances regarding how immigration decisions are made with a view to strengthening them. Meanwhile, while some individuals were closely watching Parliament to see if former Prime Minister Dr. McManus would follow through on a threat to bury Immigration Minister Bell if Prime Minister Davis did not immediately fire him for reported immigration enforcement violations, the House adjourned last night without Minnis making public what he suggested the day before was damning information that he had on Bell. The focus of Parliament yesterday was the Protection Against Violence bill, which MPs passed last night. More on that bill now. Despite opposition from women's rights groups to the government's decision to proceed with the Protection Against Violence bill, Prime Minister Davis led debate on the bill, noting that it was more inclusive than the gender-based violence bill initially proposed. As you may recall, in a statement late Wednesday night, a number of women's groups joined together and wrote about the House of Assembly being set to debate the bill, but they said, quote, "This bill is not the bill that women's rights groups worked on for more than a decade. The bill we worked on and consented to was the gender-based violence bill." They also wrote that the bill was replaced at the last minute with the Protection Against Violence bill, and that the new bill does not contain key provisions that would further help protect women and girls from violence. These provisions were the gender-based violence bill. They called on the government to suspend debate on the bill and to present to Parliament the gender-based violence bill. However, the Prime Minister called the statement disturbing and questioned why the groups decided to oppose the bill right as it was scheduled to be debated. He said, quote, "It seems to be rooted in the fact from all accounts on nomenclature because it was mooted, and discussions were held on a bill to be called the gender-based violence bill, and we're now debating a bill that is called the Protection Against Violence bill. The reason why I say it's disturbing, this bill before it was laid in the House, why discussions were held amongst the women's groups and in the community. After it was laid, a number of town hall meetings were held and was widely publicized for people to weigh in on. The Prime Minister said that it was always the aim of the stakeholders to adhere to international treaties and obligations and to provide protection and support for victims of violence, that he was disturbed after receiving the statement by the women's groups after what he understood were many consultations held to discuss the bill. In other news, a 35-year-old resident of Exuma, Roll Town, has been accused of raping a 67-year-old woman on the island. Bradley Roll is accused of raping the senior during a burglary on July 22nd. Roll was not required to enter a plea to the charges when he appeared before Acting Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. Bail was denied and he returns to court on October 31st. An employee of the Water and Sewage Corporation granted $5,000 bail following his arraignment on a charge of intentional libel. 35-year-old Reno Russell appeared before Assistant Chief Magistrate Subasola Swain, accused of posting false information on Facebook with the intention of defaming Emily Demerit, the wife of Kendall Funky Demerit, on June 11th. Demerit's husband is currently on $3,000 bail for allegedly pulling a gun on Russell on January 5th. At the time of the alleged assault, Russell was at Demerit's home to disconnect their water supply. Swain adjourned Russell's case to August 17th, the same date that Demerit's assault with a deadly weapon case is scheduled to resume. And a 24-year-old man remanded to prison after being charged with murder and attempted murder. Devano Jamiko Miller of Coburn Street is accused of the murder of Frantoine Newton and the attempted murder of Romeo Cooper. The men were on Market Street and Hay Street on July 20th when a gunman got out of a white Japanese car and opened fire on them. Both were rushed to the hospital and Newton died a short time later. Miller faces charges of attempted murder and possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. With respect to Cooper's shooting, Miller was not required to enter a plea to the charges when he appeared before Assistant Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. He was denied bail as the magistrate lacks the jurisdiction to consider bail. Miller, however, can seek bail in the Supreme Court. His next court date is October 31st. Overseas, various factions of Niger's military wrangled for power today, 2 days after members of the Presidential Guard staged a coup, setting off political chaos that could set back the country's fight against jihadists and increase Russia's influence in West Africa. It remained unclear who was in charge and if efforts at mediation had begun. A delegation from neighboring Nigeria left shortly after arriving, and the president of Benin, nominated as a mediator by a regional body, had not arrived. An analyst who spoke with participants of the talks of the Presidential Guard, which led the coup, is negotiating with the army about who should be in charge. A Western military official in Niger, who was not authorized to speak to the media, confirmed that the military factions were believed to be negotiating and said that the situation remains tense and all of the ingredients are on the table for it to erupt in fighting. And from Singapore, the country conducted its first execution of a woman in 19 years today, and its second hanging this week for drug trafficking, despite calls for the city-state to cease capital punishment for drug-related crimes. Activists say another execution is planned for next week. 45-year-old Suridewi Damani was sentenced to death in 2018 for trafficking about 31 grams of pure heroin, according to the Central Narcotics Bureau. It said that the amount was sufficient to feed the addiction of about 370 abusers for a week. Singapore's laws mandate the death penalty for anyone convicted of trafficking more than 500 grams of cannabis and 15 grams of heroin. Damani's execution came 2 days after Singaporean man Muhammad Aziz Hussain was executed for trafficking around 50 grams of heroin. He was 56. The Narcotics Bureau said both prisoners were accorded due process, including appeals of their convictions and sentences, and petitions for presidential clemency. Human rights groups, international activists, and the United Nations have urged Singapore to halt executions for drug offenses and say there is increasing evidence it's ineffective as a deterrent. Singapore authorities insist capital punishment is important to halting drug demand and supply. Human rights groups say it has executed 15 people for drug offenses since it resumed hangings in March 2022, an average of one a month. In sports, action continued for the Bahamas to the World Aquatics Championships in Fukuoka, Japan. Just one Bahamian swimming in action Thursday. That was Zaylee Elizabeth Thompson finishing second in her heat in the women's 100 meters freestyle and 38th overall out of 77 swimmers. Thompson swimming the anchor leg in the 4x100 meter mixed relay on Wednesday. Was in the pool swimming out of lane 2 in Heat 4 of the 100-meter free. She was close to improving on her personal best when she stopped the clock at 58.86 seconds. That time placed her second in the heat. She swam 28.35 seconds in the first 50 meters and posted a time of 30.51 in the final 50. Read more about it in today's Guardian Sports section. And the Bombs' men's 5-set loss to Jamaica meant they had to play in the quarterfinals Thursday when they responded to the pressure by gaining a straight sets win over Martinique in the 18th Caribbean Zonal Volleyball Association Senior Championships over in Suriname. Had the Bahamas beaten Jamaica Wednesday, they would have obtained a direct ticket to the semis. They had to take the long route to get there, but they got the job done with a convincing win over Martinique. The Bahamas won 27-25, 25-20, and 25-14, wasting little time with their Caribbean counterparts from down south. The Bahamas, with a 3-1 record, will move on to play Barbados in the tournament semifinals, the winner of Pool A. Barbados is yet to drop a match, while the Bahamas, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago finished with identical 2-1 win-loss records in Pool B. And following on that confrontation between a Bahamian coach and a foreign umpire during the Babe Ruth Caribbean Baseball Championship and Invitational, the visiting umpire has decided to pursue legal action in hopes of bringing the matter to a resolve. It's a situation that could have damaging effects on the Bahamas as a major sports tourism outlet, could stain relationships between local and international baseball officials, and could result in sanctions being passed down from a major international baseball organization on the country. I told you about this a couple days ago. On the final day of the 16 and under Invitational on Monday, in semifinal game between the Bahamas and Puerto Rico, Team Bahamas head coach Greg Burrows Jr. voiced his displeasure with the decision made by home plate umpire Eden Canister of Curacao, which led to Burrows eventually being ejected from the game. Canister saying that Burrows hurled threats and got physical afterwards, while the latter is denying any wrongdoing, stating that he simply threw some water on the umpire. Read more on that in today's Guardian Sports section. And in NBA-related news, Bronny James has been discharged from Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and is resting at home 3 days after the 18-year-old son of LeBron James went into cardiac arrest. Consulting cardiologist for Bronny James saying in a statement issued by the hospital Thursday that James was successfully treated for sudden cardiac arrest. The doctor giving credit to the swift and effective response by the USC Athletics medical staff after the incident Monday at the University of Southern California's Galen Center, where the incoming freshman guard was participating in basketball practice. Earlier Thursday, LeBron James said his family was safe and healthy in a message of thanks posted on social media. And Colorado is leaving the Pac-12 to return to the conference the Buffaloes jilted a dozen years ago. And the Big 12 celebrated the reunion with a 2-word statement released through Commissioner Brett Yomark, simply saying, quote, "They're back." Colorado becomes the third school to leave the Pac-12 in the last year. UCLA and USC are joining the Big Ten next year, leaving the Pac-12, at least for the moment, with only 9 member schools for the 2024-2025 season. Colorado is expected to take in $31.7 million in annual television revenue over the course of the Big 12's new deal, but Chancellor Philip DeStefano and Athletics Director Rick George insisted that money wasn't the only factor in CU becoming the first Power 5 school to return to the conference it had left. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. Here's what's happening. We've got a surface to low-level trough of low pressure just west of the Bahamas now, coupled with ample tropical moisture over the area. That's going to continue to support showers and thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest Bahamas today, while surface high pressure extends across the remainder of the islands. Boaters should be alert for waterspout activity. There is a marginal threat for strong to severe thunderstorms across the area. And due to the already saturated ground, any additional rainfall will lead to possible flooding. Well, will lead to flooding, and beachgoers and swimmers should stay alert as there's a risk of rip currents along East Coast beaches and Atlantic exposures. So for today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, partly cloudy to cloudy and humid, with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Some showers could be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Mariners can expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers and thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet near shore, but up to 5 feet offshore. For the southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy, warm, and breezy, with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms possible. Small craft operators should exercise caution. Winds east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots and gusty at times, seas 4 to 7 feet, but higher in gusts. Temperatures today getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have an extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. Your first look at weather brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a
You are listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity. It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it. My sales increased, and I can track my earnings. Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today. Call 356-7764.
There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
Introducing Wendy's new Chimichurri Cheeseburger. Chimichurri. That's how you pronounce it. Let it roll off your tongue. Then get ready for some ridiculously good flavor. Fresh, herby, garlicky, green, chimichurri. It'll feel like a relaxing backyard get-together with friends on a Sunday. But in a burger. Come meet Wendy's new Chimichurri Cheeseburger with our new Dave's Craft Lemonade. Wendy's, different inside and out.
Attention all beauty enthusiasts. Perfect Tone, your go-to destination for restorative skincare, is on the move. Famous for flawless results within 30 days, Perfect Tone is relocating to the shops of Southwest Carmichael Road. Now is the time to get the skin you've always dreamed of, removing dark spots, acne, and oily textured skin for good. For more information and updates, follow us on social media or visit our website at ptskincare.com.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Stephen Hanna. Good morning, Stephen. Oh, let's get your mic up there. There you go. There we go.
Okay.
Yep.
Hold on.
Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Yep. We're
Okay.
here.
You sound very excited.
Always.
Wow.
Try to keep my enthusiasm,
Okay.
tempered.
Well, that sounds wonderful on the radio. All right. A lot to get to this morning. And coming up, we're going to be talking, we're going to be kicking off a 3-part series with RF Bank and Trust. It's unlocking financial opportunities with margin loans, a game changer for investors. So if you've ever wondered what those are or want to find out what they are, today is your lucky day, and part 1 kicks off this morning. So that's coming up in just a bit. But we've got a lot to talk about in the news. All right. Well, let's just begin with the streets, the rivers of New Providence. I know that was a lot of rain yesterday.
Was it?
Yeah, that really was.
It didn't feel like more than. I mean, I feel like we've had more. But anyway, go ahead.
It was a lot. In some areas, it just
Can't stop, won't stop.
It wouldn't, and it just on and on. But that was crazy. And so the areas that always flood, they were horrible, yes. And areas that don't normally flood were acting like the areas that flood all the time. We've got a problem. Especially with the areas that always flood. And I feel like it just seems like nobody's doing anything. We're just like, well, that's how it is when it rains, and we're just letting it go like that.
Well, no, we are doing stuff.
Ooh.
We're making it worse.
Okay. Right. Well, yeah. So is anybody trying to see if there's a way to stop the flooding on East Bay Street and West Bay Street? You'd be just going to say, oh, well, it's just the way of the world, global warming.
No, I mean,
the
it's
water.
partially global warming, but it's also physics. Like, so the way to fix it is also the way to fix Bay Street in general. Mm-hmm. Like, that needs new infrastructure. You can't.
Okay, we know this, but is anybody doing anything?
They know it.
So we're just going to say, oh, well, the ocean's got to reclaim it somehow.
No, it's not just like the ocean reclaiming it. It's like the drains can't work because where the water is, water can't drain into water if the water level is too
this
high.
is a bigger than a drain issue.
Yeah, it's a physics issue, right? And so it's like, if you want to fix it, you have to actually build new infrastructure. I was thinking the same. Yesterday, I was driving on Bernard Road, right? And there are clear parts of Bernard Road where there's no road, it's just water, right? Mm-hmm. And a couple of them have businesses on either side.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, if I have foot traffic to these businesses, if I was owning these businesses, you're not going to get any customers today.
Right.
Because they have to wade through 2 feet of water to get to you. Mm-hmm. Why not build an elevated walkway from the last dry piece of sidewalk to your door? I'm saying, if I'm a business owner, and this is something that I see not changing, because for the past at least 3 years, I know that the water.
You think the business should do that?
No, I'm saying if to get to my door, I'm not saying for the whole neighborhood, but you can see where there's an elevated sidewalk, and then the sidewalk drops and it disappears under the water, and it's like, but from that point to the store to where the business is not that far. Right, and we know what a boardwalk looks like, right?
So again, should the business do that, or should
for that person? No, for that person, yes, the business should do that to save their own business because you're investing in yourself in that instance.
Now, how would they should they just do it, or should they go to the ridiculous Ministry of Works?
No, they're not. They don't have to attach it necessarily. If
wheel it out whenever it gets like that.
Yep, or build it there. It could be a freestanding permanent structure because it's all on your property.
Getting teeth.
No, you have to staple it into the ground, right? Okay. But the whole point is, the infrastructure needs to change because the world is no longer the same it was.
Well, we all can recognize that.
Right.
What is the Bahamas doing about this?
Right.
Because it happens every week, especially, it seems. In the summer on East Bay Street or when we have a cold front, it's always going to happen. It's happening by Western Esplanade. It's happening, of course, so many different parts of the island.
And it's happening in places, like you said, that it didn't happen, I would say, 15 years ago. Like 20 years ago when I was in school, there are places that I used to walk in the rain home from school.
Yeah.
And I did not have to worry about wading through water.
Right. The areas that you drove when you said, well, I can't go my normal way because that's going to be flooded, so I'll go this way.
And they are inundated with water.
Surprise, you're going to drown.
Right. And now part of the issue with that is town planning. Stop allowing people to build all sorts of what do you call it? Those strip malls everywhere because they think that's the quickest way to make a buck. Stop cutting down all the trees and then paving the ground, sealing the ground, because ain't like concrete and asphalt is absorb water, right? So you there's nowhere for the water to run, and it runs into the road because the road is lower than the building because they build the building high, so water don't get in the building.
Yeah,
and so it's like you're making a valley of the road.
We know what the issues are.
I'm saying these are all town planning issues. These are all
that doesn't exist.
Right, because you could have a bar next to a house, which is ridiculous. You can have a nightclub in the middle of a neighborhood, which is ridiculous. You could have
in the middle of the school.
You could have four. You could have four bars and liquor stores in walking distance of Carlton Francis.
Yeah,
across the street from each other, and somehow nobody says, "Oh, that shouldn't exist."
So yeah, we all know. I think
that's an infrastructure issue.
Everybody's a mini engineer now and can tell you what the issue is. But it's just every week. This is just how it is.
You want to know how to fix it? You have to hurt somebody's feelings. The same thing
doesn't work.
No, I'm saying not
like
us.
Take them out there.
I mean,
them.
The government has to hurt somebody's feelings because the same thing with Bay Street. Bay Street should never get to that point of disrespect.
What do you mean by hurt feelings? Because, I mean, look at that.
Take
how many
property.
There was a video yesterday of, I said, this is the same one from 3 years ago. But then she said some words. I'm like, oh, this is new. Because she called the party's name. Said, well, this can't be the one from that one because that party wasn't in charge then. Said, this is an actual new video. But I've seen this exact video because every time you drive by this building, it's always flooded up to people's waist. So
you got to take
whose feelings?
You got to take the property owner's property from them, right? Who's
they? Because
I'm saying the government.
No, they don't do that.
I know. You saying
so
how do you
fix
it?
I'm
saying this is what needs to happen, right? Otherwise, all of us need to do what I'm suggesting to that business owner, which is you build your own boardwalk to your house and put your door where your window is.
What's that game where they have a bunch of little
bridges? like Mario and all that stuff.
Like that.
Right.
Before anything really changes.
But I'm saying that either you do that, and then also, I mean, if we're just going to be a horrible capitalist society and not think about how we fix everything, but just think how we can make money, somebody instead of running a jitney just could start saying every time it rains, I have a ferry service, and it would work.
Excellent idea.
Especially if you know this side dry and this side wet, and all these children got to go for 50 cents. I'll take you across there.
Yeah. Should it be a raft or should it be?
I'm saying it could be a raft if you only have money to get a piece of wood. Yeah. It could be a jet ski if you're in Pinewood. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
do you think they have limo type jet skis where you could fit several people?
That's what the banana boat is for.
Okay.
But I'm saying you have to
a little bouncy though. You could pop off, fall into the
street. No, because the potholes don't affect you if you're on water, right? The whole point is it has to be addressed. Right? Now, it could be addressed by us fixing our car because our car is flooded. It could be addressed by you walking in waist deep water. It could be addressed by you as an individual figuring out a way to either get a boat that you use half of the year or building boardwalks to your door or it could be addressed collectively through the government.
Yeah.
All right?
Sounds like none of that's going to happen.
No, why wouldn't it happen?
Okay.
No,
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I agree. Something has to be done, but everybody well, I'm going to drive through it. I'm going to see if my car can make it. Oh, it did it. Yay, it didn't do it. Oh, boy. And that's that.
I had to drive through like hood level water.
Why did you do that?
Because I made a wrong turn onto East Bay.
Well, I was
yesterday.
making the right turn back. I wasn't going to go through that.
And I was like, oh, no, I'll just turn through this corner. Oh, that corner is worse water than that. And the whole point is we can say the government needs to do something, but then we also have to remember on the other end of that is if they start doing this thing, it's going to cost money. And the money has to come from somewhere.
But this is going to be. This is one thing that'll be worth it. This.
All of the things.
And like I said, there's some parts of that yesterday that no matter what, no matter how great the infrastructure was, you're going to have issues.
Right.
But there are places on this island that we know if you spit, the place will flood. Those places that cannot be allowed to continue yet.
No, but
here we are.
You should inside a place like Pinewood, the building code needs to be changed, and all the houses there need to be retrofitted. Right? That's just how it has to be. All of the sidewalks need to be essentially bridges.
Well,
I'm just saying, like for a place like Pinewood, right? Because humans weren't supposed to be there. If you're gonna build in a swamp, you have to build like you build it in a swamp, and not like you build it on regular land.
Yeah. Let's hear what you have to say on this really quickly, folks. You can call us 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720.
And then also like all these $100 million people, right? Who have well, I'm not allowed to call their names on the radio, but I'm saying that there are many Bahamians who are real millionaires. Not like I have $2-3 million. They are millionaires.
What about them?
They're not investing in infrastructure. They're not in their own buildings. They're like, people will wade through the water to get to me.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And they're not doing the eco-friendly, sustainable stuff where it's like, hey, it will save me $10,000 a year to pave over my entire property. If I pave over my entire property, I save $10,000 a year.
Yeah.
But if I don't pave over it, I won't flood the road. The water won't run in the person who lives across the street from me's house. And they're not thinking like that. And we need to hold those persons responsible as well, because the road isn't the issue. The road is supposed to be lower. The issue is the people who have the means and the resources to build around the road and to seal up everything where the water used to go and cut down every tree that used to give you shade and suck up some of this water.
Yeah.
Those people have to be held responsible as well.
All right, let's get to these messages and we'll take your calls. This person says here, to Stephen's point, I agree but disagree. The business owner may be different from the landlord. It may not be feasible for the business owner to spend that money on a ramp when the money may really be needed elsewhere. Interestingly, a concrete type of material does exist that actually does absorb water.
Yeah, but expensive,
and can help us.
But it's expensive.
It may be worth it.
But that's the thing. The same thing with the roads. Because I sent you that article. I sent you those clips the other day, right? Where it's like the reason why roads crack is because if the roads get too wet and then they dry out, that's going to cause it to crack. The same way where if you have a glass and you put a cold glass and you pour hot water in it, it's going to break.
Right.
That's what's happening to our roads. We get all this rain, and then next week it can be super hot.
Yeah.
And so we get potholes, so the next time it rains, the road's already compromised. The way to avoid that is to seal the roads. But that's super expensive. All right? And so it's like the government is making a decision that, hey, we could patch the roads or we could seal the roads. But if we seal the roads, no school getting fixed.
This person says here, Dwight, I like the way you all think. When people don't want to free things up, take it. I always say that let's apply this within a marriage. Oh, God.
No, never mind.
Boy.
That's not the same thing.
Lord.
I'm
Anyway,
talking about taking property. I'm not talking about taking...
this is ridiculous. You
Living human
you feel good sending that? They go on to say, Brave is going to fix all these issues. He is the Prime Minister of global warming and is going to carbon credit us out of these issues. Okay.
I think they're being sarcastic.
Clearly. Thanks. Thank you. That was helpful. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Stephen.
Hi.
Morning.
Just a very interesting question here. I know it's going to be pretty expensive probably a figure that we cannot even imagine. But I'm going to offer it anyway. You know, seeing that apparently the original developer of the land in Pinewood Gardens did not put in, I would say, maybe at that particular time, did put in some infrastructure for drainage, but they did not foresee this issue now that they have with major flooding in Pinewood Gardens, specifically through, and I can tell you, many of those roads, because if you go through any of those avenues, the water will come up on your hood. You know, have we ever considered getting someone who specializes in this type of thing, such as perhaps the United States Corps of Engineers to come in and really take a look at that area?
We have engineers. I know personally civil. Oh God, I forgot what the name is now. But I know engineers, and we have engineers that went off to school, studied at the highest level. They live in the Bahamas, and they can tell you what the issues are. But the issue is physics. It isn't there. There's no way to fix those drains. At this point, you would have to pump water out. Right? The water level. So imagine if you have a sponge and the sponge already is wet. It's not going to take
on any more water.
And so the water has to go somewhere. That's why every time it rains around UB, it always getting flooded. All right, because that's a pond. Right, the water is the ground is already saturated with water, so you can't drain water into an already water-filled place.
Exactly.
You have to actually pump. You'd have to pump it out.
Well, I saw a rendition no longer than day before yesterday, whereas apparently someone probably really took a real good look at that area and actually created two particular channels in that area to divert the water back into the canals. Both the Seabreeze Canal on one side and then the canal that's directly in the back of Pinewood Gardens, going through the same series of canals back out to the ocean. But, I mean, we are talking about it, but, you know, in terms of actually seeing in true renditions on how we are going to remediate that area, you know, in particular, I mean, I haven't seen anything officially coming from our government officials as it pertains to this. I mean, it's really perplexing that every time it rains, and I mean, we're in the hurricane season, but we're not smack in the middle of it. You know, to see when rain really comes down, the same ordeal with water coming into your house, street feet in your house and stuff.
No, we're smack in the middle of the rainy season. We're smack in the middle of the rainy season.
Wait,
right.
So.
Now, when you say you saw this rendition, this person showed it to you personally, or was it online? Where was it?
It was online. And in fact, at one stage, I'm going to call his name in particular, Graham Weatherford actually posted something day before yesterday showing a rendition of two channels. They'll have to create these channels so that they're actually using the force of gravity, apparently, because you're going to have to slope them in a way to get them to run off into the canals. Like I said, the Seabreeze Canal, as well as the series of canals that's directly in the back of Pinewood, heading towards the South Beach pools. I just wonder if we're really seriously trying to tackle this problem.
There have been countless proposals.
Yeah,
countless.
Well, we got to do something because after these persons have made their major investment, you know, and then they have this constant flooding in those areas and into their homes. It's totally unfair to these people, man. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. I just want to read one more message on this, and we got to move on. Don't give the government a buy. If the business is renting, surely they won't invest in a ramp. And if the landlord decides not to invest in a ramp for the business, the only solution is to move to a better location, and the problem remains. The government needs to invest in infrastructure and stop wasting taxpayers' money on these corrupt contracts. Don't give them a pass. They are responsible for fixing this and other infrastructure problems in the country.
So, and no one's giving anybody a pass. I'm suggesting let us demand and force the hand in areas where we personally can't do anything. But if you are a landowner and you're investing in your own property, and this is only going to help you in the long run, why would you not do it? Because you would sit there, let the business close down, and then say, oh, our business don't work because it flooded, and we didn't want to invest $5,000 in a ramp that would have kept our business afloat. You make more than $5,000 a year.
I think that there'll be a few companies like that. But I mean,
No, I'm
some
saying-
people, there's nothing they can do.
There are some, I'm right, and for those people, the government. But I'm not. When we talk about businesses,
Yeah.
you're investing in your business. That's like saying, as a business owner, you don't want security guards because that's an added expense.
And you mentioned those are some big timers, and you know they probably it'll be cheaper for them to say, "Oh well,
No, right,
we won't
let
have
somebody
that much
else
business-
let somebody else figure it
or
out."
we won't have that much business today. We can deal with that,
Right. In the dry season, we're
right.
great.
We'll make up for it.
And
on
I'm
those
saying,
days. And
for
they're
those
probably
things,
fine with that.
They need to. Those persons need, if they're not going to do it for themselves and for their employees and for their customers,
No, they won't.
then the government needs to lean on them in terms of taxing them. The money has to come from somewhere.
Oh, okay.
The whole thing is money is finite, guys. We only have as much.
The government can find the money. To
I
do
know
this.
they can find the money, and part of the way they find it is by taxing people who are super rich.
Okay.
Dwight, are you super rich?
I'm not.
So why are you worried about it? This
No,
not that big,
I'm saying the government is getting enough money to deal with these issues. They're not even talking about it.
They're not getting enough money to deal with these issues.
There's some stuff they don't need to do. They do it.
They would have to fire half of the workforce.
Anyway, would we notice? Here's a text. Dwight, there are several civil engineers in the Bahamas who are still alive post-independence. Okay, and new one's coming up. What are you talking about? Anyway, please seek them out. I appreciate Stephen's thoughts, but he doesn't have the answers. Alfred Sears' idea for a new political capital is looking good right now. That still won't solve the problems for New Providence. What do you mean? I mean, not in that regard.
And also, if we go inside a flatter place like Andros that has marshes and do the exact same dumbness that we do.
Place.
I'm saying,
You shouldn't go there.
if we go there and do the same dumbness that we do in here, how does that help?
Right.
Because we're not actually addressing the problem. And yeah, you're right. I don't have all the answers. All right? But certainly the answer can't just be to pick up and run away.
Right. And that suggestion to move the capital is not because of the challenges we're having in terms of flooding for New Providence. It's for something else. But that's a whole other show. All right, let's...
We might finally get proper public transportation. If everything floods consistently and everybody starts using ferry services, we finally have an opportunity. We could be at the front of this.
Riverboats. We could
Right.
have
I'm saying,
riverboats,
and I'm not even joking.
yeah, like Venice.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Almost there.
You have to, either you are going to fix your environment or you got to modify yourself to the
Yeah,
environment.
absolutely.
So that's where we're at.
All right, so moving on. The House. A lot of disturbing things coming out of the House. Just want to quickly mention that we didn't have another funeral as was promised. No citizenship granted either, but no burial for Keith Bell. Former Prime Minister Dr. Jimenez said he was going to bury Bell if Prime Minister Davis didn't fire him or if Bell didn't resign. Those two things didn't happen, and we didn't hear the shocking, damning information that we were told Minnis has on Bell. So that was disappointing for some people. Maybe he's saving it for another day, but hey. All right, so later in the show we'll get to the foolishness about BPL.
Never mind. I was like, what day?
A new day. We'll get to BPL and all the complete garbage coming out of everybody's mouth regarding BPL. It is sickening. And, boy, I tell you. So the latest from the CEO explaining why Prime Minister Davis said something completely different than what Siobhan Cambridge said on this show on Tuesday. Wednesday, David saying something totally different. Yesterday, Cambridge explaining why the Prime Minister probably said that. And so we'll talk about it later in the show, but we've got a big problem here. And we see that with the Prime Minister. We see that with many of our Prime Ministers. They say different things to us, but when they go, depending on the audience, somewhere else, they'll say something totally different, and it causes confusion and gets people angry. And clearly we've got civil servants doing the same foolishness as well. You come on a show and say something dumb, and then you go somewhere else and say something completely different because of who's in the audience. And so we don't know anything about what's going on. We don't have the full facts. All we know is that everything is as bad or worse than we thought they were. So if you had any hope after Tuesday that things might get better at BPL, don't throw that away. We're in trouble. We're in big trouble. Was your power off yesterday by any chance? I mean, I know there was thunder and lightning, but
Me? Personally, no.
Oh, you're lucky.
I mean, I also have backup hours.
Well, Aren't you special?
I
Okay.
mean, so here, once again,
Gotta-
if you
yeah,
can,
That's right.
I want you to know. So, however you feel about the Brave Davis administration, one of the first things that they did was they made it extremely cheap to bring in any sort of thing that you have the word solar attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to bring in panels, I think the custom duty is what? 0? If you want to bring in a battery, not for your car, but a battery that's a backup for solar, like a solar energy storage battery, like basically the ones that people use for RV campers, 0 duty.
Yeah.
And I purchased one of those because I have equipment that I need to use power for.
How long can the stuff last for?
It depends on which one you buy. And I
For the
bought
one that you bought.
So when I bought one during the Minutes administration. It cost $500, and by the time it got here, I spent $1,000 because it cost $500 to bring it here. During the first months of the Brave Davis administration, I bought the same one for $500, and only because of the weight, when it landed, it was like $600. I spent $100 to get it over
100
here.
extra. Okay. Oh, that's wonderful.
Right, and I'm saying, if you have the ability,
How long does that last for?
I've never ran it to 0.
I mean, like, what's the longest you've been using?
No, but I'm
it?
saying there've been times where the power's gone out and I need a fan and I need like internet and stuff so I could plug in my modem and stuff to it and run it, and it's like the next morning it still has
beautiful
40% power left. And the whole thing is these things are available. If you have the ability to purchase one for yourself, you can do that.
Plenty of people can't.
And I understand
Especially
that.
paying
No.
the giant power bills they pay right now.
Well, here's the thing: there are certain people who have the ability to bring down their power bill by using these things. Whereas, like, it's solar. I could solar power it anyway.
Have you driven on Eastern Road? Trust me, they're doing it.
Right?
They're doing it. The panels, you see more solar panels than roof.
Right, and
so
as you should.
That's happening.
As you
Absolutely.
should. And so, for everything that you could put on solar, I suggest you do.
Yeah.
If you are one of those people, I need hot water, you should not be heating up your hot water using BEC electricity.
Yeah.
Heat that up using solar panels, and if you have to go put a pot of water on top of your roof to heat it up, don't be using electricity to do that.
Yeah. God, you talked about this before. We got a text yesterday, based on what we were talking about. Somebody saying they're starting a solar collective on my corner. All the neighbors are getting together. I hope this is true, or is it a dream? All the neighbors getting together and make our own solar power station, and we all benefit. # make BPL obsolete. Well, hey, it sounds wonderful. I need to talk to my neighbors. Yeah. All right. So this is rough. This is rough. So the women's rights groups are not happy with the turn of events. MPs passed a Protection Against Violence bill. Despite opposition from women's rights groups to the government's decision to proceed with the Protection Against Violence bill, Prime Minister Philip Davis, while in the House yesterday, led debate on the bill, noting that it is more inclusive than the gender-based violence bill initially proposed. Our Naja Colebrook writing about it in today's NASA Guardian. Now, we told you about this in a statement late Wednesday night. A number of groups, Women United, Bahamas Urban Youth Development Center, Women of Strength Association, Everybody Counts Association, Marion Bethel Sayers on behalf of Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, that's CEDAW, and Therese Turner Jones, they got together and wrote that, quote, the House of Assembly is set to begin debate on the Protection Against Violence Bill 2023 on Thursday, July 27, 2023. This bill is not the bill that women's rights groups worked on for more than a decade. The bill we worked on and consented to was the Gender-Based Violence Bill. The bill was replaced at the last minute with the Protection Against Violence Bill. The new bill does not contain key provisions that would further help protect women and girls from violence. These provisions were in the Gender-Based Violence Bill. We call on the government to suspend debate on this bill and to present to Parliament the Gender-Based Violence Bill that so many Bahamian women worked hard on over the many years. But in the House yesterday, Prime Minister Davis...
That's a very long
Yeah,
sentence.
because it deserves more than that, I can tell you. Prime Minister Davis called the statement disturbing and questioned why the groups decided to oppose the bill right as it was scheduled to be debated. Okay. He said yesterday, quote, a disturbing intervention was made to me this morning where there were 6 women's groups who have indicated their opposition to this bill. And it seems to be rooted in the fact, from all accounts, on nomenclature, because it was mooted and discussions were held on a bill to be called Gender-Based Violence Bill. And we're now debating a bill that is called Protection Against Violence Bill. So he thinks it's because they changed the name that they're upset?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, my God.
That only gets. I mean, okay, go ahead. Finish
That's the information he's getting from them. Yeah, sure. Quote, now, the reason why I say it's disturbing, this bill, before it was laid in the House on the 24th of May this year, we're now in July, going almost in August, and prior to that laying on of the bill, wide discussions were held amongst the women's groups and in the community. After it was laid, a number of town hall meetings were held, and it was widely publicized for people to weigh in on. And the distinction between gender-based violence bill and the Protection Against Violence bill rests only in nomenclature. Davis added that it was always the aim of stakeholders to address or to adhere to international treaties and obligations and to provide protection and support for victims of violence, but that he was disturbed after receiving the statement by the women's groups after what he understood were many consultations held to discuss the bill.
Oh, that's more. Okay.
Yeah, there's more. He said, quote, I'm advised that a number of females on our side in Parliament, here, the member for Engliston, member for Golden Gates, Dame Anita Allen, they all were a part of the exercise. And from May, prior to May, there were discussions being held after the bill was settled, and the name changed, and the broadening to make sure that the bill was inclusive was at the instance, I'm advised, by the drafters and the head of the Bahamas Crisis Center to ensure that it included children, and by the gender desk at the Ministry of Social Services to ensure that it included men as well, so it became more inclusive. And I can say that the lawyers and drafters advised me, and I'd like to advise everyone, that this bill does, in fact, satisfy our obligations under the international treaties, including the Treaty of CEDAW. That's what they told me. And so it may not be perfect, but at the very least, if you had concerns, why wait on the day or the eve of our debating the bill to raise those concerns? I mean, that is troubling. When the bill was here in Parliament, and if it is the kind of interest that is now being expressed was there, I would have expected to have heard from the group before now, and in any event, this is not. Now, while Davis was explaining his point, opposition leader Michael Pintard rose on a point of order, stating that concerns were raised previously about the bill, including by the FNM and Senator Michaela Barnett Ellis, who said last month that the Protection Against Violence bill is less comprehensive than the previously drafted bill. But leader of government business in the House, Obi Wilshcombe, the social services minister, read out a list of NGOs to whom he emailed a letter on June 5th stating that the Protection Against Violence bill was going to be debated in Parliament in July, and that any views, thoughts, and recommendations for the completion of the bill were welcome. He said that he heard from one group, and that he spoke off the record and on the record to some others, but one group wrote in.
Okay, how much can I comment now?
Let me just read this one part.
Okay.
So the Protection Against Violence bill allows for the establishment of the Protection Against Violence Commission, which will work with the responsible minister to ensure that victims are treated with compassion and dignity and have access. Just lost my place there.
Because it's so many words, right? That's the I want you to know, for the audience, right? They're going to draw their conclusion based on where they already stand. They're not drawing their conclusion based on anything you say because there's too many words.
Yeah.
And the problem is there's so many words, and they're arguing about something that the rest of us have no idea what they're talking about. Because if you poll your audience, 9 out of 10 people, I dare say 9.5 out of 10 people, have never read that bill.
Well, here's something's going on, right?
Are you about to explain the bill, or?
No,
Okay.
because I can't.
Right.
So something has happened in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
it's not across the board. It's when it seems, I don't know what the reasons are, but
You can't say certain words.
no, no, that's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
In the past, people from the various ministries would come on to explain
Right.
something they're proposing.
And I was about to say that.
That has not happened with this bill.
No, it hasn't. And I was going to say,
Nowhere. Not on any show on this station, and I don't think on any show on any
no,
station.
definitely not other stations.
So I don't know what's happening.
No, but what I was going to say was that what needs to happen, if not, once again, this is a thing where it's like, if we look and say, we think that the government is failing in this regard, then as private citizens, and especially as groups that are saying that we're going to move the country forward, we can't then make the same mistake. If the government isn't coming on the radio and saying, here are the 5 points as to why this
Right.
bill is important, you know who does need to come on? The women's crisis.
No, the women's groups have been doing
No, I'm saying, but not just that. Put it in a form that people can understand.
Right.
Because sometimes not everybody listens to the radio.
Sure.
Right? So what I would like is...
But that's what they did. That's what the groups did with the other bill, and they have been out there trying to explain to people, but that didn't quite happen. You notice the time frame is very different. The
No, it's a
previous
very
bill,
short one.
right?
No.
The previous bill was out for a little while, but this has been only a couple of months, and they said that it was out for consultation, and people were confused. Wait, is this the same as the bill before? And then they noticed that the
change.
marital rape stuff was not in
right.
this one anymore.
Now that's another thing what needs to happen, right? It needs to spell out, at this point, because we could talk about the past, but at this point, what the activist groups need to do is, here are the 5 things that are missing from this bill, right? Give it to us in the most, don't give us the long, wordy version, because you read all that, and all I can tell is that gender-based protection groups have a problem with what the government is doing, and the government thinks it's because they didn't put the word gender in the title. That's all I could figure out from that. Right? And you were reading for like 15 minutes. They need to come on and say, the reason why we think this bill is lacking certain points is because it doesn't address this. It doesn't address that. It doesn't address this. Then the government can either respond or say, yes, we take it back and we'll adjust that. Right? That we were asking for consultation, whatever it is, however it goes now, or the government come back and say, oh no, it does address that through this and that. But right now,
it already passed now.
But all we hearing is words. We hearing words, and nobody knows what it is, because it's like I don't know what the points are that it's missing. I don't know if maybe the points are missing. Maybe the points are missing, you know, or maybe they're like we don't want to specifically make a law that 20 years from now we'll have to repeal because you can't make a law based on gender, and somebody's like, oh. No, I'm saying,
don't plant that seed.
It's not a planting of a seed. I promise you, there are already lawyers who are waiting for somebody to say, we have a law based on gender that X, Y, and Z. When, on the other hand, we are actively trying to fix that in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, let me read this really quickly so people can have at least a little understanding. It's supposed to provide access to justice without unnecessary delays and impediments. The work of the Commission will inform policies, promote awareness of human rights, allocate resources for specialized services, promote education and sensitivity training. Remember that? And promote programs and policies that are gender sensitive, equitable, and lead toward greater gender equality and improved gender relations. Yeah, okay.
I can't disagree with a cleverly worded paragraph, but it still doesn't tell me what the problem is.
Yeah.
Right? It tells me what it seeks to do, but it doesn't tell me what the problem is, why one group is like, this can't pass, and the other group is like, nah, it's good.
Well, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So you're right. Everybody needs to use all platforms. You can't just say, well, we put a little quarter-page ad in the newspaper on a Friday
or our
3 years
page.
ago. Right. Or our Facebook page that nobody knows about.
Right.
That doesn't count. You can't say, I made a TikTok, and one, the people you're trying to reach aren't on TikTok, and two, your TikTok has 4 views. That doesn't count. You have multiple media.
The members of your group.
Right.
Yeah,
And so, you have multiple mediums to take advantage of.
Yeah.
You got television, you got radio, you got print, you got digital. You have persons who could be a spokesperson. You have all a Sorry Boy and Jakratum. You could say, hey, come make a little sketch for the people who refuse to read.
Right.
And so they can share it on WhatsApp. You have these, and I mean this both to the government and the activists. Get your main points out there as to why this is important, what it is lacking, what needs to fix, what needs to be addressed. Get those points out there so that when an ignorant person like Stephen hears it, they don't either tune out or just stay on the same side that they was already on.
Yeah. Let's read these as we go to the break. This person says here, when those women's rights groups stop using the phrase for women and girls, then the men they're lobbying to and the general public will respect them. What now?
See, that's not,
What? What is? Oh, my God. Oh, boy. Okay. And this one says that
you can't have nothing, you know. You can't have nothing. Because
this person says that the Prime Minister's upset with the women's groups after they gave women a whole Independence Tea Party fashion show and ball. Everyone's trying to be a comedian. This is not
this is the comedy hour,
time.
right?
The time for this. Oh boy. Okay. Hey, let's take a break. When we come back, a whole lot more of what's making news on this Friday morning. It's the final Friday of July already.
Why do you keep phrasing things like that? Like it's the last day of August.
It's before you know it, it's 2025.
No. Before you know it'll be 2024.
Oh.
When do you think election is?
The what? Why are you talking about that?
Why would you say 2025? Why would you skip a whole year?
Because that's how fast things are going.
Yeah, but election is next.
Why are you talking about election?
It's 2024.
No, it's not. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, it's not. And why are you bringing up...
No, sorry, you're right. It's
word?
2020. You right, it is 2025. No, 2026.
Six, sir.
See that?
But why are you even thinking about that?
Why are you saying 2025?
I'm just saying that's how fast time is going.
What is the point of 2025?
Nothing.
Right.
It's just that we will even see 2024 how fast time is going. That's my point.
It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you're thinking about
something's going to happen in 2025.
Oh, 2025 is when election cycle starts.
No,
Okay,
why are you?
understand.
I'm not even. I don't think about that nonsense. Election.
Clearly how you
That's
think it.
horrible. I'm just saying time's flying.
You knew when elections happening. I had to count. I was here trying to
dear
struggle.
Lord. See, this is the thing. You're all obsessed with politics so much that you can't even make a joke without people thinking, oh, that's what Brave could call it. Oh, boy, early election again.
Yeah.
No.
Clearly that's what
time is flying.
Here first,
time
guys.
is flying. That's all I'm saying.
Brave could call election.
We'll be back. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's time for your first look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Get in gear with an RBC auto loan. In your real-time traffic, some of the streets are still flooded, still wet, so keep that in mind as you make your way about this morning. In your real-time traffic, we've got Mile Butler Highway seeing some heavy traffic about midway between Fire Trail and Tawny Coombs Darling Highway if you're heading northbound. So that's about as you're approaching Harold Pond, you'll see that. Over in Glaston Road, as you get closer to Munnings Road, you'll see the heavy traffic in front of you heading toward JFK Drive. Blue Hill Road as well, just as you near Carmichael, you'll see a bit of congestion, and then just north of Soldier Road on the way to Independence Drive, northbound, you'll see that traffic in front of you. Elsewhere, we've got some building traffic on Robinson between Old Trail and Soldier, and a little bit of congestion at East-West Highway and the intersection with Marathon and Robinson. And again, a reminder that some of the streets are still flooded and we might see more rain today, so that could be a problem later in the day as well. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up for an RBC auto loan. And time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Carey's Fabric and Uniform Store. We've got a surface to low-level trough of low pressure just west of the Bahamas, coupled with ample tropical moisture over the area. That's going to continue to support showers and thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest Bahamas today, while surface high pressure extends across the remainder of the islands. Boaters should be alert for water spout activity, and there is a threat for strong to severe thunderstorms across the area, and due to the already saturated ground, any additional rainfall will lead to flooding. So keep that in mind. Beachgoers and swimmers should be alert, as there could be rip currents along East Coast beaches and Atlantic exposures. For today, for the northwest Bahamas and the central islands, partly cloudy to cloudy and humid with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Some showers could be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. For the southeast Bahamas, very cloudy, warm, and breezy with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms possible. High temperatures getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. In your extended outlook, surface trough just west of the islands will shift further west of the area, with shower and thunderstorm activity decreasing as we head into the weekend or later into the weekend. High pressure will then build across the islands through Sunday. So for Saturday, tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms possible during the day, becoming fair and warm at night with a stray shower or two possible. Sunday, partly sunny and warm with the chance of a few isolated showers and thunderstorms. Fair and warm at night with a late night shower or two possible. We'll have your look at the tropics coming up in our next weather check after the 8 o'clock news. But this weather check brought to you by Carey Fabric and Uniform Store. Carey's Fabric Uniform Store wants to get you ready for back to school. Yes, back to school. They have ready-made uniforms and uniform fabrics for almost every school in the Bahamas. At Carey's, find skirts, blouses, shirts, jumpers, boys' shorts, and long pants, neckties, socks, and more. You can even have your uniform shirts and skirts. Skirts custom made. Get 10% off and shop their selection of school supplies. That's Carey's Fabric and Uniform Store on Mackey Street. Give them a call, 393-0758. 393-0758, Carey's Fabric and Uniform Store.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Get in gear with an RBC auto loan with up to 100% financing, extended repayment, and low interest rates. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up. Conditions apply.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
What do you want in your next car? Whether you're looking for luxury or just a reliable ride to get you where you need to be, the NUA Auto Show has everything you need to seal the deal. This Saturday, July 29th at NUA Insurance in the shops of the Southwest, Carmichael Road. Browse Nassau's leading auto dealers. Get an instant insurance quote from NUA and secure financing from Scotiabank, all in one place. Make it a family affair at the NUA Auto Show this Saturday at NUA Insurance, Carmichael Road. Just look out for our flags. See you there.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Don't let go of your chance to win big with Alive on 700 Wines and Spirits. We've got an exclusive promotion just for you. Purchase 3 or more refreshing Click Rattlers and pair them with our Freedom 12 plan or higher at 700 Wines and Spirits. To enter the contest, simply write your name and phone number on the front of your receipt. Then snap a photo of your receipt and WhatsApp it to 242-805-7511. This promotion ends July 31st, 2023. Terms and conditions apply. Alive. Believe in best.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. And now at 8:20, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by NUA Insurance. We've got a surface to low-level trough of low pressure that's just west of the Bahamas, coupled with ample tropical moisture over the area. It's going to continue to support showers and thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest Bahamas today, while surface high pressure extends across the remainder of the islands. Boaters should be alert for waterspout activity, and there is a marginal threat for some strong to severe thunderstorms across the islands, especially the northwest Bahamas, due to the already saturated ground. Any additional rainfall will likely lead to more flooding. So be careful today. Beachgoers and swimmers should also be alert for rip currents along East Coast beaches and Atlantic exposures. Your forecast for today for the northwest and central Bahamas: partly cloudy to cloudy and humid, with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Some showers could be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. For the southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy, warm, and breezy, with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms possible. Small craft operators should exercise caution. High temperatures today, getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the surface trough just west of the Bahamas will shift further west of the area, with shower and thunderstorm activity decreasing into the weekend. High pressure will then build across the islands through Sunday. So for tomorrow, we're expecting a mix of sun and clouds, with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms possible during the day, becoming fair and warm at night with a stray shower or two possible. For Sunday, partly sunny and warm with a chance of a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, turning fair and warm at night with a late night shower or two possible. In the tropics, shower activity has increased in association with the tropical wave about midway between the Cabo Verde Islands and the Lesser Antilles. Environmental conditions are expected to become favorable for gradual development in a few days, and a tropical depression could form early next week while the system gradually moves west-northwest over the tropical Atlantic. Formation chance through the next 7 days is medium at about 50%. Elsewhere, tropical cyclone formation not expected through the next 7 days. So we'll continue to watch that system for you and have more on that in the new week, of course. But your Morning Blend weather check brought to you by NUA Insurance this Saturday, July 29th, at our Carmichael Road branch in the Shops of the Southwest, starting at 10 a.m. There'll be an auto show featuring Nassau's leading auto dealerships, tailored insurance options from NUA, plus financing from Scotiabank. Whether you're looking for luxury or just want a reliable ride to get you where you have to be, the NUA Insurance Auto Show has everything you need to seal the deal this Saturday at NUA Carmichael. It's time for another check of your traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Get in gear with an RBC auto loan. In your real-time traffic, it's getting busier on Mile Butler Highway. Heavy traffic from Fire Trail now, straight up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway, especially midway between, well, as you get midway and near Harold Pond, you'll see that. Over on Gladstone Road, it's better outcomes for you there until you get to about Munnings Road, and then things get pretty busy northbound to JFK Drive. Blue Hill Road also a bit of congestion by Carmichael, the junction there, and just north of Soldier Road on the way to Independence Drive. That's northbound. Elsewhere, not looking so bad so far. Some building traffic on Robinson between Soldier and Old Trail, and near Marathon northbound, but manageable. So Bernard Road, there might be some flooding in the area, but there's some slow going there. Both directions, east and westbound this morning, again, likely because of floodwaters, and we've got a number of streets that are flooded this morning, so keep that in mind. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up for an RBC auto loan.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Total Auto Care on Howard Road offers fast, quality, and the very best prices. Tune-ups, oil changes, brakes, suspension, wheel alignments, radiators, water pump replacements, and more. Need quality brand name tires for your vehicle? Tires that'll stand up to these roads? No worries. We supply Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and Toyo. We'll import them fast and install them for you at no extra cost. So when your car needs maintenance or quality tires, we're on Howard Road, just before Burger King. Come see us. Total Auto Care. Call us at 341-6599 or 341-2350.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want. I can see whomever I choose. I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant, but nothing, I said nothing can take away this blues, 'cause nothing compares to you. It's been so lonely without you here, like a bird without a song. Nothing can stop these lonely tears from falling. Tell me, baby, where did I go wrong?
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong along with Stephen Hanna. Coming up in a few minutes, we are going to kick off a three-part series looking at margin loans, which you need to know about that. Maybe in a few minutes. And then later in business, we're going to get deeper into the BPL controversy and these Wartsila engines, what the latest now is. Every day we learn something different about these things. Isn't that crazy? But we were playing Nobody Compares to You. The I think that was the only hit. The only one that we know of Sinead O'Connor, who passed away a few days ago. But that was a big song.
Yeah.
When it came out, yeah. I think, is it Prince wrote that, right? Is that what they think? Yeah, no, I think it was Prince, yeah. So there you go. Okay, so we were talking before the news about the Protection Against Violence bill. MPs passing it. The Prime Minister saying they didn't get any. They were confused because they didn't really get the any major feedback from the women's groups who are now complaining about it. And I know the last time we had somebody on the show talking about the gender bill that had been out for consultation, which we'd never been told no longer going to be, right? The last thing we heard was that they're going to meet with the Baptists. Even the Christian Council acknowledged that, and right? Then the Minister of Social Services acknowledged that they're still waiting on the meeting. And everyone's like, well, what's going on? What's the holdup? But this other bill comes in there, and the marital rape clauses are not included in that. So it's something different. And I remember we had a guest on who was saying we don't know what's going on because we're confused. There's this other bill now, but it doesn't have the marital rape stuff in there. And we're like, what exactly is happening? So I think that's why there wasn't much publicly said about this by those groups until now, because they were just waiting. Like, wait, what? And what's going on?
And that's fine.
Sure.
I mean, listen, you should figure out what you're talking about before you talk about it.
Right.
Right.
And they didn't get the clarity, it seems.
Right. If that is the case, by all means. However, we are now here.
Mm-hmm.
And what I need for both sides, I feel like I'm almost addressing the text message that you didn't read aloud.
I'm going to read that in a moment.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But for all sides, whatever your point is needs to be made explicitly clear, all right? In point form, in bullet form, all right? On as many mediums as possible. I was telling you, Dwight, it ain't that I out here go into every mad and wet backyard party or whatever.
What now?
I don't know, all right? But I honestly can say I only hear about this or heard about this on this station.
Heard about what?
Anything with this bill?
These bills.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
When I'm listening to your show or when I was actually in the House of Assembly. Right? And that isn't to say that no one was talking about it. I'm saying that the channels through which they are speaking do not reach me. Right? And there are other people who the channels will also not reach. If you want people on your side, they need to know what you're talking about. If you want to get new followers, a new adherents to whatever it is that you're trying to get, they need to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right? And it can't be a very wordy thing and saying, this person is doing this and I don't understand. What is it that you want so that I could know what to say, well, why this person can't have this? Keep it simple. And and as many channels as possible.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's get your reaction to this, folks. We'll get to those text messages in just a bit. What do you make of this? Why aren't we hearing when it comes to certain things? Not everything. Some things they will. Right. They'll come on the show and they'll talk about this, or we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this. But legislation, often no. Financial, it seems to be a little different. They'll
even with that, because
not as much as you'd want to.
Right. And like even.
But they'll make people available to come on to talk.
But they also know that people are going to tune out. They're not utilizing all the channels. They're not
that's
utilizing.
a very serious thing you just said. What? So what? They send somebody, but they know nobody hears. That's what you're saying?
Because then they did their due diligence. We went on this, and we said something in very, very dense language that nobody understood.
Technical language.
Like, imagine if I came on and was like, hey, for the next 10 minutes, I'll be speaking in German.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be like, what? And they're like, that is the Kragen. Sprachen Sie Deutsch. Blah, blah, blah. Right? And no one except German people understand me. Like, that is very funny, Stephen. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the point? If I then say, oh, yeah, I told you guys they were giving out free money on Wolf Road, but I said it in German.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That didn't help anybody.
Yeah.
Speak to your audience. Right? And
but the stuff that's going to impact people, they won't talk about it.
By all means, if you're serious about it, give me a call.
Right.
You know?
Wow.
I can be one of your channels.
Oh, you're advertising yourself.
I didn't mean give Guardian a call. I mean, they know your number.
Okay.
You know?
But you want to prostitute yourself to the government. That's what you're saying?
I mean, if you call it prostitution, it's our government.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Are you prostituting yourself when you sleep with your wife? No.
Sometimes. 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259, 242-300-5720. Call us toll free. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796.
You want to sleep with her because she cook food for you. Prostitution.
Somebody's a prostitute.
Right, so no one's a prostitute.
Here's the text that you were talking about. I read this to you off here.
Can we get some music before you read it?
What type of music? Should we play Jaws music? Some horror movie music? Clown music?
No, not clown. That's overdone.
All right, so the texter says, no one gives a crap about the women's rights bill when men are being slaughtered in the streets. This is a selfish bill that ignores the rights of men and boys and obfuscates the true intentions under the word gender when they are only concerned about women.
I don't know why you're surprised that they know the word obfuscate. They listen to Guardian Radio, so like their vocabulary
it's disappointing.
Expanded.
That's all. So, okay. So I mean, should we respond or just leave that out?
So
there?
My thing is for the women's group to win over somebody like that who's willing to literally put their money where their mouth is and spend money to say, I don't believe in what you're saying. How do you win that person over? How do you show that person why this is important? How this will benefit their lives personally?
No, that's a lost cause. I don't think you can.
No, maybe it is and maybe it isn't.
Yeah.
But if we assume it's a lost cause, this person may also not know what their main points are. This person only knows what the mythology of it. And we were discussing, is it an issue of this person is around women who are so strong they feel emasculated? And I said, no. The problem is this person isn't around enough women. They see a woman on occasion and they probably don't like that woman. Or they've heard the mythology that all women are evil and all women want to take your money and all this women want to do it. And then so when they do buck women, they go there with that preconceived notion because they don't have enough time to realize that they're stupid women and they're smart women. From all colors and ilks. Go ahead.
We spent far too much time on that already. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning.
Hi. Good morning.
You know what offends me most as a guy, right?
No, what does?
In the women's rights bills and all this stuff. I find that a lot of women don't join the fight because they don't really care for some reason, or they'll say, it's not happening to me, so who cares? And only until it affects them, then they cry out for help or cry out for assistance. I've heard a woman actually tell me that if a woman doesn't want to sleep with her husband, she shouldn't get married. And I'm like, what the hell? It's like, that sounds so stupid to me, even as a man, because there's numerous reasons why you wouldn't want to have sex with your husband. Whether he's cheating on you, whether he abuses you, I mean, he might have 10 feet, all kinds of different reasons why a woman wouldn't want to sleep. You know what I'm saying? To make the blanket statement that if you don't want to sleep with your husband, don't get married, that sounds so ridiculous to me. That's like saying if you don't want to get killed in a car accident, don't drive in the street. Or if you don't want to get killed in a plane crash, don't go in an airplane. It's like what? It's like the ridiculous things people say is amazing.
Yeah.
And to me, rape is rape regardless of what. No one gives us the right to say no, no matter what situation they're in. And what even burns your people more, I know you're probably going to not want me to say it, but you have some mentally challenged persons who have public airways who actually kind of on the slick promote rape and saying that, oh, women should submit to men regardless of what the situation is. And saying that to guys who may be controlling or whatever, it's like a recipe for disaster. You see what I'm saying? Because not every guy has common sense. But I just feel as if more women should for women's rights, even if they're not in the situation. Do not wait until you are in the situation and then need these laws to protect you, and then they're not available.
Okay. Yeah. Great points. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I mean, whereas he's correct, but I mean also I like some women may not be speaking out because they feel uninformed, as do the rest of us. All right. Some of them may be afraid to speak out because nobody want to be around with these crazy people every single day. Dwight chose that life. Dwight has chosen the life where
he wants people rowing all day.
Right, who wants to row with people all day? Most people don't, right? And so it's like, I mean, there are multiple reasons. And so I encourage the caller, even when the road seems hard and the journey long, to continue the course, to bring as many people over onto that side. Gotta express the points, though.
All right, let's take one more call on it. I've been getting messages, but I can't read these messages.
Why?
Because they're just...
They're libel?
They're just insane. Good morning, you're on the air. Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, Dwight. My thing is, the law should be for all. Male, female, whatever, children. This notion of next day I'll come and say, hey, you need a man's bill or a child's bill. No, there should be a law that covers everybody. Any violation, it covers everybody. There's a penalty.
Yeah,
so if a woman in a situation or a man in a situation and they see signs of abuse, then just get out of the relationship.
Question, caller. Should there be... So the same laws that apply to immigrants should apply to Bahamian nationals as well?
No, I am talking specifically.
No. You can't. You said it should be a law for everybody, right?
That's something. That's a foreign policy.
All right, well, let's not even go there, Stephen, because that's going to cloud things. But you know that there are there are major differences between men and women, right? So there are reproductive differences. Well, no, it doesn't. If you're a woman with a vagina and you can have that's very different from a man. So they're going to have to be specific rules.
If you abuse me, a man get abused. Woman get abused.
You're not understanding what we're saying.
Right. There's a reason.
No. You need to get sensible. Come on now. Right. So come on. You cannot say those things. That doesn't make sense.
Here's the thing. You can say it, but you also have to be willing to accept when somebody says,
you're talking garbage.
What you're saying is incorrect. Because the reason why I brought up immigration is because there is a reason. Everybody can see where there is a reason for one law to exist and another law to exist. The question is the law in balance?
Well, if you go by what he's saying, you have to get rid of abortion laws, right? And laws against abortion.
Because they only apply to women.
Right.
They don't apply to men.
Let everybody do what they want to do to their own bodies.
No, but also...
leave them alone.
Dwight,
so you're going to...
If it's equal across the board, then I promise you that a lot of things would change.
That's exactly...
Everything from property ownership to where you could park your car. Things would change overnight. There had to be different laws for children because children don't have, what is it called? The children can't vote. They can't drive. They can't drink. These are things they're not supposed to do. They're not supposed to work before a certain age. And these are to prevent exploitation of children. So to say you can't have a law especially for children is ridiculous, right? So it's like there's a place and a reason for it. You cannot get upset when somebody points out the flaws in your plan and say, I'm being technical or I'm muddying the water, I'm clouding it. No, you're not thinking about this realistically. You are afraid of a mythology that you've been fed, and it doesn't exist, at least not in the way that you think it exists. What I invite you to do is, if you're going to have the conversation, listen to the opposing points, sit with them for a moment, and then respond. Don't just say, I don't like it. No, want me to have bear, or the government want me to put a dress on and read books about pride. The government doesn't actually do any of those things. The government doesn't care if you do whatever you do, as long as you don't hurt anybody in the process. That's pretty much what every law is. It's what's in the Bible. Love God and treat your neighbor as you treat yourself.
Oh, boy. All right. These messages, we go to the break. This person says here, the country does not want any mention of marital rape in our laws. We stand for traditional values along with Africa and Russia. Global South unite against the LGBTQIA agenda. Okay.
Russia is not the global South. Russia is not the South of anything. And also, that's not true of every African country. You know, Dwight, I sent you an article a while back where traditionally in Kenya, there were female husbands. Before that's a thing and it still exists to this day.
About cause.
No, because people, these ignorant people keep repeating things that they hear and they don't do the research.
We'll talk about that.
That's a very common practice. That's
female husbands.
Female husband can marry another woman, and it's for property rights.
So what are you doing?
Okay.
What are you doing? What are you doing, sir? Sir, you're trying to.
But I'm saying,
cause this show to go beyond the headlines or something.
Whatever,
can't allow
whatever views you have,
let's go to the break.
The research.
We'll be back. We're talking about your money and margin loans when we get back. This is Morning Blend. Stay with us.
All the flowers that you planted, mama, in the backyard.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
What do you want in your next car? Whether you're looking for luxury or just a reliable ride to get you where you need to be, the NUA Auto Show has everything you need to seal the deal. This Saturday, July 29th at NUA Insurance in the shops of the Southwest, Carmichael Road. Browse Nassau's leading auto dealers. Get an instant insurance quote from NUA and secure financing from Scotiabank, all in one place. Make it a family affair at the NUA Auto Show this Saturday at NUA Insurance, Carmichael Road. Just look out for our flags. See you there.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Shopping is so rewarding with my Fidelity credit card. I get the best prices with price protection. Earn and redeem Freedom Points at my favorite stores. Get cash back. Plus, I booked a cruise. Get your Fidelity credit card today. Call 356-7764.
We're gonna give you a check every week for a year. Percy's Pension Plan. Island Game, keep you winning. Percy's Pension Plan. Dream big, we will help you live it. Percy's Pension Plan. Island Game, we got you. Percy's Pension Plan. From the friends you can trust. If winning is a must, come play the game you know, cause your best chance is with us. The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island Game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy train at Percy's Island Game.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
We go everywhere. Shop early at Janae's Chesapeake Road going on now. Get up to 20% off on all school items in stock. Yes, all school items in stock. Shirts, jumpers, skirts, boys' long and short pants, school neckties, PE shorts, in a variety of colors and school monograms. Shop early and don't miss out at Janae's Uniform Center Chesapeake Road's annual back-to-school sale going on now. Remember, we go everywhere. Beat the rush and save, save, save at Janae's annual sale now.
Summer your way with Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotia Plan loan this summer and open the doors to your dream destination, the perfect home renovation, or prep for back to school, and so much more. Enjoy competitive rates, flexible loan terms, and no payments for up to 2 months. Use your plan loan to unlock your perfect summer break. Apply for your Scotia Plan loan today and have summer your way with Scotiabank. Visit bs.scotiabank.com or call 242-356-1697 for further details.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Get in gear with an RBC auto loan with up to 100% finance, extended repayment, and low interest rates. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up. Conditions apply.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
You're in a bad state when you ain't got no money. I don't think that's funny, no. I told my girl I lost my job. She said, baby, you got to think it out, 'cause you're in a bad state. You ain't got no money, no. You're in a bad state. I don't think that's funny, no.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Stephen Hanna. And we're very excited. We're kicking off a new 3-part series today with RF Bank and Trust. It is all about margin loans, unlocking financial opportunities with margin loans, a game changer for investors. And like we said, it's a 3-part series we've got today. And then that's what, August 1st is Tuesday. And then again on August 3rd. So you definitely have to keep tuning in to get the best of this series. And we're very pleased to have with us this morning from RF Bank and Trust, Assistant VP and Group Head of Marketing, Rachael Allahar. And we have Brokerage Manager Belinda Payne with us. Welcome back. Great. Good morning. All right, so part 1, this one we are, because we need this, understanding margin loans, because I couldn't tell you if you paid me to tell you what a margin loan is. So
you could try.
Belinda, you're gonna start that off, right?
Yes.
A definition. Get real close to the mic and bring it down a little bit. The definition of a margin loan.
Very easy, very simple to get. Mm-hmm. So a margin loan is simply a flexible line of credit that allows you to borrow against the securities you have. Those securities would usually be held in a brokerage account. Mm-hmm. And that makes it even easier for you to get it, because all you have to do is call us, let us know you want it. We set up the loan and you can get your funds within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so I guess we have to go back and say, well, what is a security is?
Right. So you have to be an investor in.
Okay. So when you look at securities, you're talking about stocks that trade on BISX, the Bahamas International Stock Exchange. And you're talking about securities like Commonwealth Bank, Cable Bahamas. I'm sure all of us are familiar with Doctors Hospital, J.S. Johnson, any of those type of shares you have. Many persons have government bonds. Yes. You can even get a margin loan against a fixed deposit.
Okay.
All right,
so yeah.
So if I have a bond or stocks or whatever, I'm using that as collateral.
Yes.
To get money from you.
Yes.
All right. So, I guess, does it matter who holds those bonds? Like, if I'm doing it through like a company or?
Well, RF is the only company that offers a margin loan.
No, not the margin loan. I mean, like if I bought, like if I have a mutual fund through another company, would I still be able to utilize that, or would I have to like migrate to you? How would that work?
As far as a mutual fund, you can borrow against RS mutual fund. We don't lend against another company's mutual fund.
Okay.
And that's simply because we have to manage our risk.
No. I understand. I just don't understand. All right.
Now, you just said that you're the only ones doing the margin loans?
Yes,
okay,
we are.
Explain that and how and why that is.
Okay, so, well, RF, we are currently the only broker house that does it. And I guess simply because it's not feasible for other broker houses to do it. You know, we have that competitive advantage. So the margin loan, how it typically works, like we said, you have a portfolio of securities. You come in, if you don't, you open a brokerage account, we put those securities in. And then once we set that up, you're approved for a margin loan. And then you have the flexibility to draw down on those funds as you need.
How soon can you do that? Do you have to hold that for a little while or a set amount of time?
Like if I go and open up a mutual fund account with you today, how long before I could utilize the margin?
You can apply for that loan tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it, what's the, I guess, the ratio? Like if I, or is it based on a case-by-case basis?
It's based on a case-by-case basis because it depends on what type of securities you hold in your portfolio and the value of those securities.
Okay, so give us some examples of how this would work.
Okay, so
if I have some government bonds, I have let's say I have $10,000 worth of government bonds. I guess RF, because you guys do that as well, right? So I have like 10,000. What's the
amount we would lend you?
Yes.
Okay.
Or do you need to also have like my age and my height?
No, we don't need you to bring all of that. Just the government bonds. So basically, we could lend you up to $6,500 against those government bonds. And then the good thing about it is the features of this loan is that with a traditional bank, you have fixed repayment terms. With us, there are no fixed repayment terms. Okay, you pay us back as you wish, as long as the security holds its value, meaning it doesn't decrease in price. You can either set up to pay us monthly if you wish, just to stay ahead of that interest, or you can just, like I said, you can pay us every year, pay something every month. That's the main thing. That's one of the key features about it is that
yearly you could decide to do that.
Yeah, because what our loan just continues to roll over. Okay, so if in a year, you took out the loan to maybe do some renovations at home, and you haven't completed that as yet, so you're not ready to start to. And you're moving into the second year of the loan, you can start to make payments on the loan at that time.
Okay.
We make it flexible and easy. You just reach out to us. You can transfer funds to us. You can bring us a check, anything. And the loan works.
Are there interest rates or how does that work?
Yes, we have very competitive low interest rates. Those rates start at 7.5%. And of course, that would beat any loan that you can get, in a personal loan rate that you can get at any bank. Yeah.
Is it different if it's a bond versus stocks or anything like that?
No. The main thing that makes the difference on the rate that you're going to get is the amount that you borrow from us.
Right. I also assume because when you say the value of the security or the stock or the bond or whatever, if it decreases in value. So I'm assuming that with private companies, there can be some fluctuation. God forbid, a telecommunications company suddenly collapses under the weight of its own incompetence. And your stocks are worth nothing versus
oddly specific.
Government bonds where if they fail, the country's over, so don't even worry about it. Right? So those might also affect it in terms of like when you go into there.
Yeah, so basically, if you're borrowing, especially against stocks, the trade on the exchange, the value of that stock can move.
Right.
And so we have minimum requirements or maintenance requirements for the loan. So if you fall below that value, we'll have to give you a little call to say that we need you to either bring in some cash or some additional securities.
Right.
And of course, I should say we do have the right to sell the securities if you are not able to bring in that cash or security. But of course, we try and work with you before we reach that point.
But the stock market here, basically, so far, we're not seeing that much, right? Most
isn't
of
as
these are
volatile.
trending upward. Is that not how?
Yeah. A lot of the prices are trending upward. That's why this is a wonderful time to come in and bring in those shares and get a margin loan against it. But occasionally, you can see a drop in value.
Right.
And so that could trigger us to have to give you a call.
When clients actually read what they're doing. In the reverse, because you're talking about, I mean, I'm used to the very calm, sleepy market of the BISX, right? But if it went up, right? Do you guys call me and say, "Hey, we could give you another 1,000"? Like, how does that work? Does it work in the reverse, where like you would say, "Hey, yeah, the stock went down, and so you need to bring in like a couple $100 or whatever to balance it out"? Would it work in the reverse, or can I use like?
So we may not necessarily jump and give you a call because we have a very large base of clients. However, we would send you something in email, basically kind of like how the bank may say you're pre-approved for, this amount.
Line of credit.
So we can let you know, hey, you have this additional space that you can get. If you want to get it, you just call us and you could get that day.
Okay. Yeah, that's if it goes up.
So a lot of these sound like some of the risks. Are there any others that people need to keep in mind when it comes to this?
So the risk that possibly the value of your securities can drop. There's also, basically what we want to tell people is you have to monitor your portfolio, monitor the investments to make sure that the value of your portfolio doesn't drop. And then also you want to borrow more against a diversified portfolio as opposed to just one security. But if that's what you have, we can work with that. So that's the main thing, because the value of the securities can drop. Having a diversified portfolio will help against that.
I mean, but if I am already an RF client through the mutual funds or through whatever, this means that all of this is, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm doing a circle, like everything's together. Like, whereas so I wouldn't have to, I would like to prevent having to check the BISX and check my stocks.
Yes.
And then also come to you to make sure, like, is there like a vehicle?
Gives our clients all the information they need. So the vehicle that's going to allow you to do this loan is a brokerage account, and in that brokerage account, all of your securities are held. So RF updates our prices so that you can see any changes on BISX. We also send you that information every day so that you're aware of what's happening on the local exchange, and to help you monitor those price changes and what may be going on with your portfolio. You also have online access, so you'll be able to view your portfolio line and keep track of what's going on.
All right, we've got some questions here on our text line for you, Belinda Payne. This person's asking, well, I think you answered this already. I have shares with another brokerage company, but not mutual funds. Can I still borrow?
Yes, you can borrow. You just bring those shares
to transfer it to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, this person says there's no volatility and no sophistication with the BISX here because there are no derivatives. Plus, the volume is low. I trade on the U.S. stock market. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question. I mean, as a follow-up to that, right? There are some persons that, whether above board or beneath board, do some trading on international markets. If I'm one such person who, not that I am, but if a person had stocks in a foreign company or whatever, like, are they allowed to use that, or is it only things on the BISX?
Unfortunately, no. We deal with local securities.
So only stuff traded on the BISX.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there any particular reason it's called a margin loan? What is that?
Well, it's a margin loan because it's a loan against your portfolio. That's really just what it's called.
All right.
I'm sure there's a margin in there somewhere.
Right. All right. So Rachel, I'm curious. Why did you think this was to do? Why did you think we needed to unlock the financial opportunities with margin loans and get this word out?
Sure. Well, RF is celebrating 25 years this year. So we wanted to make sure that everybody in the Bahamas is aware of all of the great products and services that we offer to the Bahamian public. And especially as a margin loan is one of the exclusive products that RF Bank and Trust offers, we wanted to make sure and scream it from the mountaintops this summer. A lot of people are still bouncing back from COVID, still feeling financial restrictions. So now is the time to really lean into all of the options that you have. So a lot of people have been doing the smart thing and have been building their portfolios and investing over the years. So now we want to make sure they unlock all of the potentials that that has, so they can come in and use a margin loan for anything that they could possibly need, including investing in more shares or bonds.
Yeah, that's great stuff. And schools are opening soon, eh?
Exactly. School fees.
Yeah, school fees coming up. All right. So what else can we expect over the next two parts of the series?
Ooh, spoilers. So we're actually going to dive into how your margin can actually pay for itself. So we're going to be talking about how to position your margin in a way that it also works for you and your investments work for you. And then we're going to dive even deeper into all of the benefits of a brokerage account. So Belinda would have spoken a little bit about how it just makes everything easier to have everything in one account. So we're really going to unpack what that means.
Okay.
Is that a volume thing? The way that you get it to pay for itself.
You have to tune in.
All right, so that's next week.
I apologize. What?
No, we don't want to give away anything now.
Sorry, my bad. And know what I said, guys.
And Belinda, for people who are not investors in anything, they don't have the money really working for them, right? What advice would you give them? They're not invested in stocks, bonds, any of that.
I would say call us, give us a call, and at least start to have the conversation, because it's never too late to start. And RF certainly has the type of account for any investor. So if you want to start small, with a minimum as low as $100, just reach out to us, and we're happy to speak with you to get you on the investing path.
What? And I know Dwight is like, but what? If you could quickly just mention some of the vehicles, the investment vehicles that you guys offer at RF.
Rachel?
So mutual brokerage accounts, trust and estate planning.
Question. With trust, right? What is the minimum?
Ooh. The minimum for a trust at RF is $500,000.
Good God. Is there a way to have a trust at a lower amount, or one that you can invest in incrementally?
No, not really.
Those people went out so
and it's not. It's okay. So with a trust, what you want to do, that trust is supposed to, at the end of your life, or even during it, it's supposed to kind of carry your wishes on. Right. Okay, so you can build that over time. You don't have to rush into that trust, because remember, you can hold property in the trust. So even though that $500,000 may sound a lot,
it is.
You can, if you're looking at a piece of property, you're looking at securities, additional cash. That may kind of be very easy to meet. But, we don't want people, because there are fees associated with the trust, we don't want persons to come in that don't meet a minimum amount, because we don't think that would be in their best interest to come and take out a trust at that time.
All right.
That's a whole other show.
We'll do a series on trust, maybe, for Stephen, but that's a totally different...
It is. I'm just saying,
Let people know how they can get more information about what you offer at RF.
Sure. Visit the website, rfgroup.com. Give us a call, 603-6000, or email belinda@brokerage@rfgroup.com.
Okay. All right. So understanding margin loans, yep, I think we did that, and we're going to get into a whole lot more of this next week. Thank you both for being here with us this morning.
Thank you.
Rachael Allahar and Belinda Payne. That wasn't so bad, right, Belinda? See, you did. Okay. You did very well. Very well. We're going to take a break and be back with Morning Blend Business. We're talking about BPL when we come back. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
You're in a bad state when you ain't got no money, no.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you want to go scuba diving on your vacation, don't bedazzle your wetsuit. And you think you look great, but what you don't realize is that you look like a shiny, scaly fish. And it won't take long for a shark to notice you. Next thing you know, you're busting out every karate move you got. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance and get airlifted out to the closest hospital.
Get coverage for emergency evacuations. CG Atlantic Medical and Life Insurance. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394. Email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com or helpcenter@accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
Total Auto Care on Howard Road offers fast, quality auto maintenance at the very best prices. Tune-ups, oil changes, brakes, suspension, wheel alignments, radiators, water pump replacements, and more. Need quality brand name tires for your vehicle? Tires that'll stand up to these roads? No worries. We supply Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and Toyo. We'll import them fast and install them for you at no extra cost. So when your car needs maintenance or quality tires, we're on Howard Road, just before Burger King. Come see us. Total Auto Care. Call us at 341-6599 or 341-2350.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
Wake up, it's a new day.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together, and we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey for every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Parks and Public Beaches Authority invites all private companies and civic organizations to adopt a roundabout. This is your chance to stand out from the crowd, beautify and enhance our local areas for residents and tourists alike, just in time for the 50th anniversary of our independence. With this opportunity, you can engage persons on the go, generate media interest, and promote your company. Celebrate 50. For more information, you can call 242-604-3750.
Summer your way with Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotia Plan loan this summer and open the doors to your dream destination, the perfect home renovation, or prep for back to school, and so much more. Enjoy competitive rates, flexible loan terms, and no payments for up to 2 months. Use your plan loan to unlock your perfect summer break. Apply for your Scotia Plan loan today and have summer your way with Scotiabank. Visit bs.scotiabank.com or call 242-356-169 details.
Are you ready to take your career to the next level as a qualified mental health or school counseling professional? University of the Bahamas has a new Master of Science in Counseling program. Get ready to reach new heights as you learn from our expertly trained faculty. Our program meets the highest international standards, ensuring you receive the best education possible. We focus on everything you need to excel, like individual and group counseling, clinical interventions, and research and program evaluations. Our 2-year program brings together a close-knit cohort that'll support you throughout your educational journey. Experience the power of transformation. So what are you waiting for? Grab this opportunity now. To apply, call 397-2602, 397-2606, or email graduate@ub.edu.bs. Don't miss out.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily that of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Friday, July 28th, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Stephen Hanna. And this morning we're going to pick up the conversation about BPL and the confusion of the past few days on what's going on about the Wartsila engines. Are they working? Are they not working? What's the deal? Is this the reason why the bills are so high? Is the fuel charge? Does anybody know? Are they just saying words now? What is really happening? You may recall why there is controversy. We had BPL CEO Siobhan Cambridge on the show on Tuesday. I specifically asked him about the Wartsila engines, what's going on with that. He says 7 of them, 5 are right now working. They have 2 going through routine maintenance, but they have 7 operational engines. We were shocked on Wednesday to hear Prime Minister Davis get up to respond to former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis in the House when he said, he was blaming the government, Minnis, for abandoning the fuel hedge program that was put in place by the previous administration, and that is why we're paying so much for fuel right now. My previous bills, 2/3 of that were really just for the fuel surcharge, not for my consumption. So when the Prime Minister said the issues at BPL were because of the choices that the F&M government, the Minnis administration, made, and he mentioned Wartsila, and that the engines weren't working, we're like, wait a minute now. Which Wartsila engines? Because the day before, the CEO said they're working. What's going on here? Let's get your mic up there.
Okay, the problem is that, Dwight, you're listening to what people are saying, and you should never do that.
Right.
I know this is a talk show, and it is on the radio, so it's solely audio, but understand something. Don't ever listen to what people say. You go and you find out what they're doing.
How do you do that?
That is the question.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know if we got to go to the Department of Statistics and say, hey, how much electricity is produced actually?
That's not going to help you.
I'm just saying, or where is it? Or go to, or then get the information from actual workers. But people who
you have to have political affiliation.
No.
Do you know this one? Is this your cousin?
It depends on how
because
you
then you can't really tell if they're going to be truthful with you, because
you just say, hey,
if that person's their cousin and they are this color and they're this and that, and depending on the day, then they might not give you the right answer.
Now you can't answer because now it's become a political thing. And
what do you mean? You mean the 21st century, the 20th century?
I meant this specific instance, right?
Well,
because I was like, boy, everything feel political, like hard political lines.
When does it not feel political?
There was a time and place where I could talk about BPL horribly.
Back when BPL didn't mean Bahamas Power and Light?
No, I'm saying there was a point where I could talk bad about BC or BPL, and nobody would be like, oh, you must see it's a PLP.
No, I don't. But who do you hang out with?
I feel like now
everybody has power outages.
Yeah.
So everybody, we all can come together with our dislike of BPL.
It used to unite us, right?
That's always how it is. It's still like that.
Listen back to the show at Thursday, and listen to what the callers were saying. Whereas, like, one caller would be, because remember, the F&Ms are harping on one issue, and the POPs are harping on another issue. And so now,
but that's only the callers. That's not the baby.
That's
people.
not right. That's
not the public.
We hope.
Right.
But the whole point is, at the end of the day, people that say all sorts of things. People say everything. Sometimes what they say is true. And sometimes what they say isn't.
It's worse than that, even. Right? And you're right. Because as I said earlier in the show, depending on the audience, we're getting different answers from the same person.
Give us an example.
Take a listen to this report from our Jared Higgs.
BPL CEO Siobhan Cambridge explaining to reporters what he thinks Prime Minister Philip Davis meant when Davis said that Wartsila engines at BPL aren't working and haven't been working. Cambridge told Morning Blend host Dwight Strachan on Tuesday that 5 online and 2 are undergoing scheduled maintenance. He was asked today about the Prime Minister's comments about the Wartsila engines, and he explained that he recently briefed Davis about issues with the engines causing them to be less efficient.
And basically it was that the engines were designed to operate a certain way, but certain amendments and modifications were made during the project execution that has resulted in them not performing as the project was originally envisioned, and that has resulted in some eating or eroding of some of the fuel savings benefits that were envisioned with the project, as well as some of the operational and performance issues.
Specifically, Cambridge says the plan was for those engines to be tri-fuel capable, but due to issues during the project, the engines are not tri-fuel capable. Now, in order to convert those engines to be tri-fuel capable, it's going to come at a cost that has been rising, Cambridge says.
To get them to be tri-fuel will require an additional, at the time it was around about £500,000 investment. I think we have made some recent inquiries and that has gone up significantly as a result of all the things that are happening on the market with supply chain issues and the like.
That would just be the conversion to LNG?
That would be just converting them to LNG. So to convert them to LNG right now is estimated to be about maybe $4 million per machine.
Prime Minister Philip Davis charged in the House of Assembly yesterday that something is rotten at Bahamas Power and Light and indicated that BPL and the Bahamian people lost out in the company's deal for Wartsila engines, which he said have never worked properly. Davis' statement came in response to former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis claiming once again that the actions of the Davis administration are directly responsible for the higher power bills many consumers of the state-owned utility are seeing. At the end of 2022, BPL ended a contract with Wartsila to operate 123 megawatts of generation capacity. Wartsila also carried out maintenance. Asked earlier this month what kind of impact ending Wartsila's contract had on BPL's operations, Cambridge told the Nassau Guardian the only impact it has had is we've been able to save a lot of money.
Okay. Oh, my goodness.
Was that supposed to leave me more confused?
So it gets worse. It gets worse.
Tell us more.
So again, I mean, why did you... What? So there's an article in today's Tribune.
Mm-hmm.
CEO, Siobhan Cambridge. I would have agreed on Wartsila choice.
Right. That's the headline, though.
Oh.
Did he say that?
Oh, yes. Bahamas Power and Light CEO Siobhan Cambridge said if he had been involved in installing Wartsila engines in 2019, he likely would have agreed with the decisions his predecessors made.
Right.
Choices that have since had difficult consequences for the company's ability to provide reliable power.
So perhaps what he's saying is that given the same information that was available at the time, he would have made the same error?
It seems. Cambridge said the Wartsila engines are somewhat compromised and do not work well as they would have worked if BPL had stuck with the original engine plan. So who made the mistake there? Was it BPL or was it the engines have a flaw?
You want to know where the mistake was made?
Oh, he might say it here. He said the reasons the plans were changed are complicated and reflect decisions made under intense pressure to provide reliable electricity. What?
How much do those engines cost? Because I feel like it's in the millions.
How much do the engines release? Brains of the people who walk.
Oh no, we know that. We know that. But I feel like when it gets into the millions of dollars, it can't be, it's a high pressure, what are we going to do situation. Mm-hmm. Right?
But let's finish this before we get into all that, right? So again, the complicated decisions made under intense pressure to provide reliable electricity. What type of weird... Now, the comments come after Prime Minister Davis said on Wednesday that the Wartsila engines never worked properly and described the situation as rotten. Now, Cambridge was less harsh in his conclusion. He said BPL's initial plans to install 4 Wartsila tri-fuel engines were disrupted when a fire erupted at Clifton Pier in 2018. You remember that fire? Destroying the plant's 2 largest units.
Vaguely.
When you lose your 2 largest engines at Clifton Pier in a fire, they needed additional capacity immediately to replace the shortfall from BPL's own plant. He said rather than put the 4 engines in a new station, BPL officials responded by putting them in a repurposed station along with 3 other machines. He said, quote, they wound up putting 7 engines in there. Here's the thing, you have time, you have capacity, and you have cost issues. He said officials did not build the system using an ideal redundancy format, instead installing single systems, single fuel pump, single oil pump, single cooling oil system, You put new engines in, but the support systems were not built at the usual redundancies that you put at a base as a base in those plants, and the cooling water system was not optimal or as manufacturers wanted it to be. And they also didn't put as the manufacturers wanted it to be.
Yeah, it's not. You're not using it
didn't
correctly.
do the way that they
Right, and and that goes to a point that one of your callers made, like, oh, these things should guarantee
They're
very
voided
voided,
that,
very
right?
voided.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because y'all didn't put it in properly. That's not how we told you to do it.
Ah, boy. He said they also didn't put in the fuel treatment equipment, oh my goodness, to facilitate the operation of the unit on HPO, which is why HFO.
Is that the type of fuel?
I guess so.
Hybrid.
Which is why they wound up burning 33% HFO as opposed to the 60% what was envisioned when the plant was designed. Because of the corners that were cut, so to speak, the performance of the plant was not what it would have been if it were installed by design. Cambridge wants to stay out of the blame game and to avoid the politics surrounding electricity issues in the Bahamas. He said, quote, I would like to think that under the circumstances, those were the best decisions to make. I will say, given what we were going through or what the country was going through then, in terms of right after the fire and the 4 and 8 hour rolling blackouts, oh my God, I cannot be critical of the decisions because I probably would have agreed with the decision. All right, so here we go. Here's the means that we have to turn the spotlight back on Prime Minister Davis. Because why did you bring that up when we were talking about the fuel surcharge? When Minnis was talking about the fuel surcharge, you brought up a stupid argument that had no relevance to this discussion. What are you trying to do, Prime Minister Davis? This is gaslighting, as people, this word is getting overused, but this is clearly what this is right now.
Because you're talking about fuel?
Well, yeah, pardon the pun, I guess. But what are you doing? Why did you bring that up? Did when he had the conversation with you, did he not tell you this part? Or are we all getting the information in pieces?
I mean,
because you had no business bringing up that in the House.
What, that didn't work properly?
This is the smelliness at BPL.
Mm-hmm.
You can't blame Wartsila for that, right? These were emergency choices that had to be made, or we would have had a massive problem.
And tactically, he didn't blame Wartsila. He said the machines never work.
Because of what BPL did.
And he said there's something fishy at BPL. Things at BPL.
They're telling you they had to do it because of the fire, which still.
And this is the problem is that, right? That none of it is a lie. All of it is fiction.
Oh, God.
Everybody's giving you part of the story that suits the narrative that they want you to hear. And so it's like.
And the biggest story is how high our bills are.
I mean,
because of all the terrible decisions that have been made over the years.
Yes.
Terrible and apparently some necessary over the years. Right? And now what? Now what? We're going to continue to play games? You did this? Me? No, not me. And my bills are going up.
What is the way forward?
What is the way forward? We have to wait till November for the fuel surcharge to come down. November.
No, listen. Okay, so once again, there is no guarantee that anything is going to come down in any time soon because I don't know if you remember this, Dwight. There's a person who produces oil at significant amounts in the world who is presently at war with Ukraine. The same way where we anticipate the price of grain rising because they decided to cease their allowing grain to come out of Ukraine, anticipate that oil, especially during the colder months in the north of the Duran planet, where they need oil, that's good. Price of oil, why would it drop in November?
Well, I mean, this is they're locked in with the hedging. They still are doing hedging.
Okay. No, I know. I heard that.
But I think you're making a very valid point.
You can't control that. So let's imagine that the worst things happen.
Right. Other things could happen that could cause the prices to go up. Yeah.
What is the way forward? Yeah. We have means of creating energy, or at least not even creating energy, harvesting energy. If the government is unable to procure the funds in the amount needed to do that, make a public-private partnership with normal everyday behaviors. Say, hey, Stephen, you have $100, you have $50, contribute it to this so we could buy whatever solar, whatever we need to get at least half of New Providence off of burning the generator, and then we will have more than enough energy for the rest of the island with that.
Do you want the government to do this?
I want the government to just build the vehicle and that's it. Or step away.
Or speak out, say it, encourage people to do this.
I'm saying even if we do it, they have to make the legislation to allow us to do it. Because I can't open up a power company in New Providence without the legislation being in place. I will be arrested. I can supplement.
Power provider.
Right. I can supplement while remaining on the grid, but I cannot make a whole different thing.
Yeah,
so the government still has to be part.
We read the tweet you read earlier. A person says that neighbors want to come together to reform, but so you might.
They can supplement, but they can't come off.
Sure,
they have to still have
they could be crossing the lines, blurring the lines of being seen as a power provider.
As long
that
as
could get them into problems.
It could, but once again, the government would have to create the legislation. The government cannot be not in the conversation. But what I'm saying is, we need a way forward that we control, not a way forward that if everything goes right in the world, because everything never goes right in the world.
Something always. Money.
No. This is
to pay for all the things they need to pay for at BPL. Do you think you'll ever hear that from them?
That's the thing. They're not going to get less money. They are going to continue to get money because everybody is not going to contribute to this public-private partnership to make this thing happen, right? And everybody is still going to be paying electricity bill to upkeep and to maintain it. So money will be made. What I'm saying is, instead of the money leaving the country, because there's a significant amount of money, according to what the BPL person is saying, that's just going to fuel. Everybody agrees that we're spending money on fuel. The significant portion of your bill is on fuel. So you're telling me if 60% of my bill is going on fuel that's leaving the country, that even if I only charge 20% instead of whatever the 60% is, our bills will be reduced and all of that money stay here. That's a win.
Yeah.
That is a profit. So we need to now say, what is the way forward? Here are the steps to get to that. Let us put the plan in place and stop back and forth, because that's not getting us anywhere.
Okay. Let's hear what you have to say, folks. Call us 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us. There's more stories on this. We'll get to those in a bit. So a whole lot of bright lights, on BPL. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Gone already. Calls back. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Toll free, 242-300-5720. This text here. I don't want to sound too negative, but over and over, the Prime Minister has proven himself as a, oh boy. I can't.
You start.
I can't.
What, you don't want to get accused of libel?
I don't want to. I think that's a bit. Anyway, as someone with a challenge with the truth, did I make it worse? That's trust me, it's better than what they said. And it is so bad. Heading when he was in opposition, he was so humble. I actually supported him 100%. The person he is now, I don't know this person. I think it's bad information. I think he gets a lot of bad information.
Once again, Dwight, this is a situation where if you look closely at these things, no one is lying, but they are very creative with the truth and the information. Everything, just because something is a fiction doesn't mean it's a lie. A fiction means that we are controlled. I'm telling you a story. This is the story that you're being told. Now, where does this story start? Where does this myth start? We don't know. We don't know is somebody giving it to the Prime Minister like that? Maybe, probably. Same thing with BPL. Where does the story start? Because I'm sure that is the chairman?
CEO.
The CEO of BPL is not going around checking each engine every single day to be like, oh, this one don't have no the fuel. Somebody's telling him these things, right? I don't care. We now know that where we are. How do we fix it without any further bickering?
Yeah.
All right?
When are y'all Bahamians going to realize the text? No politicians care about us. It's party over country. Okay. Well, boy. This one says here, to be honest, sometimes this predicament happens when specialized expensive equipment It happens with specialized expensive equipment. We get we don't need no foreigners to install it. We can install it ourselves. Sometimes we temporarily need to the manufacturer's foreign staff to set it up properly and teach Bahamians how to run it. History has shown that we are good at buying things, but not good at maintaining things. And they did have a contract for some Wartsila staff to be here to maintain the equipment, but they terminated that last year, we're told, right? This person says here, but we only use Bunker C. We don't have long facilities. Make it make sense. Government big as okay, sure. Every time you talk, okay, that's the app. Yeah, something's up with the app. When we get louder, it clips out. It clips out. Yes, yes. Our technical folks are aware of it, and I'm told they're working on it. They're working. That's
a default protection on the system.
Yeah. Okay. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720. Because text us 422-4796. All right,
so you have to talk calmly and quietly.
Right. Can't get worked up. People tell us something different. The same people tell us something different every day. Got to sound more like NPR.
Yeah, so it's like, hey guys, it doesn't matter
who's too fast.
Sorry, hey guys.
Do they say guys?
Yeah. Hey, listeners,
folks
at home, non-gender. It doesn't matter what is being said. What is being done is what's important. What is the way forward, and how are we going to get out of this in a means that we can control?
Let's see what this caller is saying. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
You remember when Donald Trump became president of the United States?
I'm trying to forget.
He opened the oil fields in America because they have enough oil in their fields to last a lifetime.
I don't know if that's true.
As soon as Biden, gas was cheap in the United States at that time.
Are you sure?
Yes. Look it up. When Biden became president, he closed the oil fields and started in Russia. From that day forward, gas prices went up tremendously all over the world.
I'm very confused.
We could have been getting our oil from America instead of from the Middle East and from Russia. Look it up, please.
From what?
So
Russia?
You will see that is true.
A lot of your information is a little off, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Dwight, assuming that her information is correct,
it's not quite
what she needs to do is she needs to renounce her Bahamian citizenship, move to America, and vote in their election. No, it's not extreme. Why are you talking about Biden on this station?
Well, we talk about them, but it's fine. But that's not quite right, though. She's saying a lot of those things are off in many ways.
What control does she have over the American election? She has none. So why are you talking about it? Let's talk about things that we can control.
Directly from them at all. But okay.
Exactly. Let's talk about things that
what we need to be
over.
doing, ma'am, is to using much less fossil fuels. That's what we've been saying, right?
Things that we have control over. So if you believe that the next American election is going to have an impact on your life, then renounce your Bahamian citizenship, go to America, become an American citizen, and vote in their election. I'm saying to you,
I think
there's something I'm not because I'm sick and tired of people harassing me about you ain't seen what they say. People always talking about, listen to Fox, the MSNBC is the devil, CNN is the devil. Bro, I don't watch
all three of them.
I don't watch any of them.
They're pretty bad.
I don't watch any of them.
CNN's good early in the morning.
Dwight,
3-4 o'clock.
It doesn't matter. You know why it doesn't matter? Because what is happening on HLN, what's happening on MSNBC,
still exists?
A little bit, I guess. What's happening on Fox does not impact my life in the Bahamas at all. At all. Because those people are out to make a profit.
Well, I mean, you can get your news from other sources.
Exactly. No, I'm not saying that news doesn't matter. I'm saying that those news stations are out to make a profit. So stop coming with their propaganda on this good Christian radio station.
What now?
Talking foolishness.
Okay. Oh, boy. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, good morning.
Good topic again. Listen to me, man. I'm going to go a little far-fetched. Until this country deals with election reform, we'll always have a high energy cost in this country. Because the persons that provide energy, the fuel for energy, the fossil fuel, the bunker fuel, or those generation at BPL, they are protected on both sides of the political fence. And there's a proposal at the Prime Minister's desk as I speak to you that can do away with both LNG and fossil fuel and reduce energy costs in this country. But they can't do it because both political parties, both of the major political parties protect these guys that provide the bunker fee and the fossil fuels. That's the bottom line. And so if they're serious, they can do away with a generation plan at BPL that doesn't need bunker fuel nor LNG. But they're not going to do it because they have to get their election donations from the company that is providing, or from the organization that is providing fuel for BPL. That's the bottom line.
I hear you. All right, thanks a lot. Yeah, and everybody talks about it when they're in opposition, but as soon as they get in, they completely forget. Is it amnesia? I don't know what it is that happens.
No, it isn't. It's easy.
Intentional?
Because it's easy to point out the problems when you're not responsible for fixing them. When you're responsible for fixing them, trust me, all you got to do is, when you was reading that thing, I was like, this CEO of BPL, I hope they paying this man $500,000 a year. For the amount of stress he got to go through in this 1 week to both explain his position, explain somebody else's position, say the truth, but also don't say too much of the truth on this side because it might make somebody else look bad. The amount of dancing you got to do.
It's a lot of dancing, and you do feel sorry for him. He's a nice guy. But
listen, I say all that. I don't know.
Well, I do feel sorry for him.
That's fine.
It's going to get worse.
I'm just saying,
it's going to get worse.
For the amount of money, all these people, I feel the same way about some of these elected officials as well. I mean, I don't want them to get paid half of rich, but the whole point is the amount of dancing they have to do to not offend the other person in their party, or like the caller just said, the people who finance in the party, but then also they still beholden to the people who voted for them because they got to go, when they go to regatta, the people look up in their face and saying, what you doing? Nah, what we send you for?
I wish they would say that.
They do say that.
Do they?
I've witnessed it.
You sure? Or do they say, what you doing with my contract?
No.
Which one is it?
Nah, I've also witnessed that.
Oh, that's the main conversation.
I've witnessed that as well, but I've witnessed the other ones where it's like, we ain't send you there for that.
Oh, that's
so it's
beautiful.
Like, but my whole point is the amount of stress that these people in positions, not necessarily of power, but the nexus of power, whereas like they are between the people and the people who are pulling the reins. The amount of stress they're going through, I hope that they are well compensated because they have shortened their lifespan by at least a decade.
Wow. All right, so I want to get to this call, and then there are more BPL stories, and this is really, like
more
I said,
Tales from the Crypt?
It really seems that way.
Now we can play the horror movie.
It's this is a rough time for them. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight, and
Hi.
good morning to Stephen.
Good morning.
Hey, to you guys talk about the BPL situation. I am sticking to the story, the original story that the director had. I think it was the director who was on Dwight show
CEO.
one day last week. I think it was or
Tuesday.
before last.
Tuesday.
I'm
Just
sticking to what
Tuesday.
he said because obviously that would be the truth before he found himself compromised. And as far as them speaking about the what's his name? The gentleman I called just now was talking about the two parties being beholden to these persons who own these companies that brings in the bunker fee and so on. My take on that is when you in opposition, for the most part, you're not liable to them. You understand me? You're not there for them because they did not help you get in. Now, once you're in and they were the ones that helped you, that's when you now owe them something. So you have to make it look as good as possible that you are there on their side without making it seem that you're on their side. But I'm sticking to the original story from BPL. There's nothing wrong with the 5 generators, and they cut short the service. They cut off the contract that they had with the Wartsila company. I'm sticking to that because I feel like that's the truth.
All right. Thanks a lot. Now, he didn't say that there's nothing wrong. He said that they're working. But then the Prime Minister said they don't work.
He said they're working. They never work.
They never work properly.
Right.
So
once again, you have. So here's the thing: idioms mean one thing, But at the same time, technicalities allow you to say certain things and be like, I didn't say that. This is what I said. And so, like I said, nobody lied.
But we can't agree that the Prime Minister, that wasn't relevant to the conversation. If the issue is the high and rising costs of electricity and the bills that we're seeing,
it's 100%.
This is not quite relevant to bring that up.
No. See, you're talking about the thing is you're talking about two different things.
It's not the Prime Minister.
Because you're saying it's not relevant to the conversation you're having.
He brought that up to respond to what the former Prime Minister said.
It was very relevant to his argument because he was arguing
that BPL stinks. Well, we don't need you to tell us that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but this is the problem. The problem is the conversation can be taken all over the place. And I just want, once again, what's the way forward? How do we get Dwight's bill down?
Is Wartsila the reason why my bill is $200 more than it was?
The answer is
2 months ago.
Sometimes it is.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's not Wartsila's fault. But is it the Wartsila engines?
Right here on this show, the CEO explained, as we all know, that it is the fuel surcharge and that it's gone up much more than it was a year ago.
Yeah, no.
So everybody knows that your consumption, some people's consumption fell.
Right,
and it isn't because it's the hottest summer we've had in as long as we can remember.
That's also about it.
No, it isn't. I mean, some people's consumption went up. That's you did that. But for some people didn't see that.
Right.
It's the fuel surcharge entirely. Last month my consumption was $100, but my bill was $320 something.
Yeah.
Because of fuel surcharge.
Right.
So what are you bringing up? The Wartsila engines not working the way that they had expected it to work in response to someone who says that you all caused this to happen because you did not do the fuel hedging program. Why would you bring that up? Because you're just being petty and you're arguing like how politicians argue in the House. So this is insane, and you're wasting our time. You're asking great questions. What are we going to do?
Right. That's what
it's
I want.
Very volatile. You're right. So they might have locked in that fuel price for November. Maybe so, right? So the fuel might go down, but there could be other issues. As you said, the war could get worse in Europe. We could still have bigger problems come November, December, January.
What is the actual plan?
What is your plan?
And the problem is not even neither. No one is saying what the move forward is. And I'll let you get this call, but I just want to say to the callers and the person who is saying that there are people who are making all this money off of selling us, being retailers of the oil for this fuel and whatever, right? If their main concern is they want to make money and they don't care about anything else, they don't care about the environment, they don't care about how much you're paying for electricity, they just want to make money, we can help you make money off of clean energy. You can still make money hand over fist. But you have to then invest else. You cannot keep because those people who are bringing in, I assume if you're bringing in all this fuel, that you have access to a whole lot of capital. If you are the person that invests in clean green energy, whether it's wind, solar, water, rain, fire, whatever, earth, you will also be making money hand over fist off of something that you don't have to buy from somebody else.
Okay.
So I'm saying there's money to be made if you're an evil, greedy capitalist. Don't look away from it just because it might help Stephen. You can make money without killing me.
All right. Let's take this call and then we can get to this.
And the longer I live, the more you can exploit me.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Sean, Mr. Stephen. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Doing well.
You know, I hear all the talks about the BPL saga and all the government saga, right? Mm-hmm. My light bill went from $200 to $1,000.
How? What?
From $200 a month to $1,000.
Wait, something's wrong.
In 1 month? This month I got to pay $1,000 for light bill.
In 1 month?
In 1 month. And nobody
you might need to check that.
trying to help me to bring this doggone thing down. All the talking and all this nonsense ain't helping.
Did you have your AC running continuously, or what did you do differently?
No, sir. As a matter of fact, I have my units, the ductless unit. If nobody's at home,
They are.
No AC is running.
All right, so you might need to check that out. Somebody might be stealing from you or something.
Or they're misreading something.
Something's off. Get them to come out.
But when you go there, they tell you the bill is actual bill. It's not a pre-estimated bill. But this happens every summer.
People are stealing electricity. That happens. So check it out and see if something happened there, because that's a bit
There's
weird.
no way you could have that big of a jump.
I've heard a lot of jumps, but that's the biggest one I've heard.
But it isn't only me, eh? It isn't only me.
No, everybody went up. Well, almost everybody went up. Sure.
Right, everybody went up, but I'm talking about astronomical. They're talking about off to the roof.
Yeah.
And nobody's saying, nobody's doing anything, nobody's telling us how we're going to get this down. Everybody's just talking about it.
They are telling you. They're telling you that the fuel surcharge will get a little bit better gradually, but you got to power through it. Pardon the pun again. So
we're the lawyers. This is what we need.
I can't power through it no more. Eh?
Right.
I can't take it no more. It's like paying mortgage.
No, it is horrible.
That's paying the mortgage.
That's
higher than
some mortgage.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Get that checked out as quickly as possible.
I sure will.
That's very scary. I don't know what I would do.
You know what I would, if I was that person, you know what I would do? I would not. I would, because listen, that's not making any sense. For the amount, if it's costing him that much, it would be cheaper for him to buy all of every bit and just come completely off the grid. No, Dwight, think about it. If I had to pay $1,000 a month, it don't cost $1,000 to buy a battery that could power my fridge. It don't cost $1,000 for me to buy a battery that could power the air conditioned unit. The thing he could outfit his entire house in 3 months at that rate.
All right.
So why would he pay BPL forever?
Wow. All right. So let's get back to these stories, and then we're going to.
Whatever happened to the Tesla wall battery?
Remember, I don't think that was for export or anything. They're not doing that for outside the U.S.
Okay. A lot of things ain't supposed to leave the U.S. and over here. Because if you could get a Tesla car, you could probably get a wall. Listen.
It's very different.
If your power bill is that astronomical, it make more sense for you to invest in yourself than to put it in a hole in the ground.
All right, so listen. So there's more. This is right. This is in today's story by Candia Dames. Davis told the House of Assembly the engines are not working. They never worked properly. The Prime Minister also said that the engines flat out never worked. A statement that appears very different from.
Okay, that's a different thing from saying they didn't work properly.
Right. The Prime Minister claimed, quote, "You will find that those engines were constructed in a dilapidated building. Therefore, they can't run for fear that the building will collapse on it." That's the findings. What the heck? Never ran the engines. What now? Never ran the 7 engines put there. Okay. This is really getting
Did he mean simultaneously, or did he mean?
I don't know what this means, but this is crazy. This is like, oh my goodness.
I don't understand. I do understand why you're being this is stressing you, because
this is very stressful.
Because
what are you doing here, man? This is like a fairy tale nursery rhyme to the point of ridiculousness.
I don't know if it's exaggerating.
You will find that those engines were constructed in a dilapidated building. Therefore, they can't run for fear that the building will collapse on it.
Maybe that's what he was told.
Oh my God! So maybe he zoned out during the meeting, and so he thought he heard that. Very strange. Okay. Well, folks, I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, there's a story in the business section. BPL bills having impact on Bahamas profitability. Maybe when they start talking, people will listen.
The only thing that's going to happen is
happen?
that we are going to reduce our taxes for them. And then we'll have less money in the system. And
then they'll make it up by taxing us even more.
There's only one way to fix this, guys. You need a level of empathy, and we are going to have to we need a plan of action around this that involves only us. If you ain't on any of these islands, your output cannot affect what happens within these islands.
Really quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning, caller. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. Oh, Dwight.
Hey.
Yeah, I was calling earlier. I heard a lady say it was something with Trump. Trump was offering something, you know. I think Trump was trying to get people to go on LNG, if I'm mistaken. He did some talking. Now, Stephen saying with the gentleman who called just now, the man bill is $1,000, and you telling the man go solar. You know, we got to remember, solar is not cheap.
Isn't it?
No, solar costs, man, to do average house could cost for $25,000.
Well, I mean, at this rate, well, what you talking about? Now, since
No, when you say the gentleman, you come off the grid altogether and do solar. That's what you say.
Yes, I'm saying.
But I tell you that it's not cheap for the man to do. The man got trouble to pay the $1,000.
Yes. When was the last time you checked out solar?
Well, you could check it out.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the upfront costs might be high, but also the prices pay for itself.
If you're talking about prices from 5 years ago, the price of solar production in terms of the panels, the inverters, all the different stuff has gone down. So I'm saying, by all means, do the math. I'm not going to say,
yeah, we're going to do, and I think I know other hosts are interested as well. We're going to do a special series, maybe a week long on this, and everyone can get the facts about solar, how it works. We'll get everything covered.
Do the math and figure out how much power you might need and what works for you. It might be an issue where you just supplement your power to reduce the bill. It might be an issue where you come off altogether.
I don't know if Stephen should be encouraging people to get off the grid because, as we heard from BPL just a few days ago, legally, unless you are in a remote location, you're not really supposed to be entirely off the grid. No. But you could get 99% perhaps off the grid.
You're right. Let me correct that. Yeah. I'm not telling you to get off the grid. I'm telling you to not pay BPL. If BPL kicks you off the grid, that's on them.
Lower his mic there,
that's on them.
Producer. Let's take this call really
quickly.
Stay
on the grid.
Good.
If they kick you off, that's on them.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? No? Steven scared you off. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay. All right.
But it's BPL then.
Oh, no. Yeah, right. This person says here, if you focus on the Prime Minister's notice, he's playing the media. So far as the Bell situation has ended, this was his intention to ease the pressure off Bell. Oh, well, yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. Good morning. The PPP is the way to go to move from BPL. Let Bahamians who are able invest a minimum of $100 and go and up, and that would be the way to go. The money stays in the Bahamas.
Right. I would prefer that over what we have right now. And that's all I'm saying for the people who have the ability to make that vehicle happen and to do that within this year.
This person says here, we have solar. Our bill was $5, and now it's $600.
How?
So his bill's correct.
Where y'all? What is happening?
Wait,
where y'all live?
Is this a mistake? Their bill was $5.
Yeah. Where are they
now
living?
Now it's $600.
Where are they living? Because I think that don't make no sense.
Hold on. Your bill could be $500 if you have solar. Okay.
No, I thought you were saying $5.
$5 if you have solar.
Yeah.
And then, really? Okay, so I got to do this.
But that's what I'm saying, Dwight. At the very least, supplement it. Take all your heavy stuff and put them on solar and leave everything else.
Not a mistake. $5, but he jumped up to $600. Yeah, get off that grid. Yeah, who cares what the law says?
Don't pay it.
No, boy,
don't. It ain't about
that's true.
Here's the thing. The law doesn't say if you don't pay your BPL bill, you go to jail. The law say don't come off the grid. I never came off the grid. Y'all disconnect me. Y'all take me off the grid. You and the CEO have to go to jail with me then, because y'all take me off the grid. I ain't never come off no grid. Right? So that's what I'm saying to you.
Oh, dear.
If you have the means to supplement your energy, come off completely, do it. But don't come off. Don't go to them and say, I disconnecting it. Run that bill up to $300,000. I ain't going to never pay that. And when you take me off and you send the police, I can say, I ain't never come off the grid.
The police will be outside when you get out of the studio. This person says that BPL is doing mess. My bill went from $160 last month to $486. It sounds like me. That's why I'm really interested in solar. Wish solar companies would offer some reasonable packages.
And now here's the thing. I want BPL to hear all the people who
we got to get off there. You keep interrupting after me. Just read this. We got to go.
No, but like they need to hear all these people who are willing to go on to solar and realize the only way to prevent yourself from collapsing as a company is for y'all to get out in front and say, no, we will provide all the solar at a cheaper price. Here it is. This is the package. Yeah. That's the only way for y'all to survive for the next 10 years.
This texter says, my utilization has increased because I do use the AC more because of the heat. However, the increase in the fuel surcharge is 2/3 of my bill. Yep, that seems to be the case for a lot of people. Okay, that's great stuff. Interesting.
That's ridiculous. I don't understand. They would have to come to me and explain to me. They'd have to walk around and be like, oh, you see right there, you have your phone plugged in. You charge in your cell phone, and that's why it's $600. They would have to come to my house and show me where that is.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. This is. We're gonna have to do this, as you said. You can't wait for the government to do anything. You have to do this on your own. You have to come together. If you can do it
as large as you are allowed to come together. Yeah. And like I say, if you can't come off the grid, we ain't off the grid. All this is supplemental energy.
Right. But we're gonna have to take control of this because this is going to run us into bankruptcy as individuals, as individual consumers. Individual consumers are going to go broke.
We cannot operate with all these lights and this mic. You know how the radio waves work? True. You need electricity.
And they're going to pass on those prices to us, and we won't be able to buy, or we can't afford it already, and it's going to get worse. So something has to be done. And if the government is going to just talk nonsense and talk about foolishness about buildings collapsing when engines are working,
might be collapsing,
but the engines are working, he's saying if they turn them on, they'll collapse. Did you not see the video yesterday? Somebody walking around the engines and everything looked pretty good. They're quite, like, what is it? And we cannot wait for the truth from them. We've got to do our own thing. It does seem. Pick up today's Guardian business section, folks. There are great stories in there. More on BPL, but also on the DIR creating large taxpayer unit for 50 biggest companies. And roads built to international standards are expensive, says a works engineer. We have to read that one on Monday's show. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stephen, thanks a lot. On the Clock with Aaron Green, coming up next.
Are you ready to turn your passion for hospitality and tourism into a thriving career? Well, here's an opportunity just for you. Check out these new skill certificates at University of the Bahamas. You can choose from 3 concentrations: culinary, pre-culinary, and hospitality. You can complete this program within as little as 6 months, depending on the results of your placement exam. Get hands-on training in the highest industry standard and learn from world-class faculty. Apply today. Space is limited. Call the School of Tourism, Hospitality, Culinary Arts, and Leisure Management at 677-3201. Or come on in and find out more. The deadline to apply is August 4th. Big step to start an exciting career.
You've tried everything. ASUS with your mother's cousin's sister's auntie, and even hiding your money under your mattress. But is your money safe? Your Bahamian dollar deposit in a member bank or credit union is insured up to $50,000. If anything happens, your deposit up to the insured value will be returned to you thanks to Deposit Insurance. Visit Deposit Insurance Corporation at www.dic.bf.
Protection for your money guaranteed with DIC.
A lot of folks are wondering, what is the Agrarian Awards? It's an award show to celebrate the people who produce the food that feeds the country. So September 16th, we're giving out trophies and money to young farmers, backyard farmers, sheep runners, goat herders, pea pickers, onion planters. Basically, everyone. But we couldn't fit all that on the invite, so we put Agrarian Awards instead. Go to adiobahamas.org to find out how to nominate your favorite agrarian. The Agrarian Awards, September 16th.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection and finely ground. And unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
We're gonna give you a check every week for a year. Percy's Pension Plan. Island Game, keep you winning. Percy's Pension Plan. Dream big, we will help you live it.